Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
I love sports.
Sports.
When it comes to
Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men, we will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
Coach Elko's my guy, right? Like, I love him. I love Michael Early. Like, I think Bucky's going to be incredible.
It's football, man. And that's what Warriors do. They don't want to sit out.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
Buchanan.
Nuño.
I did this little show called No Layups. You're familiar, right?
Yeah.
My buddy Raheel. And he kind of, I don't know if upset me is the right word, because this is my little brother, right? We're family. But like the arrogance of certain fan bases. You know what school he went to?
Texas.
Yeah. And like I'm talking to him, and he's like, yeah, it's not that big of a deal to go on the road at night in the SEC. And I'm like, and like from a Texas perspective, by the way, we're going to talk A&M. I was just thinking about this. So from a Texas perspective, they're like, had 3 road night games in the SEC. We've won them all. We beat A&M, we beat Kentucky, and we beat Mississippi State. And I'm like, bro. And his point was, because Texas is terrible, that, you know, it ain't that big of a deal. It's not that different. I'm like, bro, Kentucky can't even score on their scout team. And it went to overtime. Right. And it took a boneheaded decision for them, a play call, for them to lose that game. Mississippi State, miracle ending, special teams, whatever. And it just like, it's probably not going to be this year. Maybe the Georgia game will be at night and they'll get humbled there. But like 2 years into it, the perspective from a Texas fan is like, this SEC thing you're talking about, it ain't that hard. Like, yeah, we went to Starkville, but we won. Yeah, we went to Kentucky, but we won. We went to Kyle Field. We're supposed to be scared. We won. And I'm like, I just want to grab him by the shoulders. I'm like, dude, the game shouldn't have been close.
Yeah, look, I get it. You have a relationship with the guy. I got to tell you, I could not give a flying fox about.
I'm glad you said fox. About
the Texas Longhorns. To me, they're irrelevant. Yeah, they're 6-2 because they've squirreled out a couple of. Their opponents found ways to lose.
Yep.
But Texas, to me, look, this week, Saturday, they're going to lose to Vanderbilt, I believe.
Yeah, I think those two.
And then they're going to be out of playoff contention. They're going to be out of SEC.
And they're going to lose to Georgia.
I think they're going to lose to Georgia. And I wouldn't be I think they're going to lose to A&M. And quite frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if they lost to Arkansas. 6-6 possibility. I'll give them 7-5. The point is, I think that they're irrelevant. And I understand you have a relationship with the guy, but Texas, to me, it
was just more like the certain fan bases and arrogance that they have.
Yeah, it's ridiculous that they're ranked as high as they are. Are they 20?
Yeah. I don't even know what they are, but they were 20.
But okay, yeah, they won.
And then I'm going to flip it to the team A&M just beat now. Okay? I'm just kind of going on. I'm cherry picking thoughts. You tweeted, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, maybe it was on your way back from Baton Rouge.
Sunday.
Right, about how, I guess, complaining, I don't know how they phrased it, but about them not having Whit Weeks, their left tackle, and yada, yada, yada. And your response to that was?
Well, A&M didn't have Le'Veon Moss and Bryce Anderson, but they weren't talking about that.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because a year ago, I was talking about, like, man, if Le'Veon Moss were playing, right, in my mind, even though I knew and said on this show that it was the defense that was struggling at the end of the year, not the offense. Now, the offense against Texas didn't move the ball, or they didn't score. Sorry. But it's fun to be with a team that, I mean, it matters that you lose your top players, of course, but you've got enough depth, resolve, and character.
See, that's why to be honest, let's be honest, losing Whit Weeks and that tackle, who I don't think is a great player, but he's better than what they had, hurt them more than losing Le'Veon Moss and Bryce Anderson hurt A&M. And that's why it's called a team, because depth is part of being a successful team.
Yep.
So, I think what you should just do is if I had my duck camp hat, which is over there, you should just take it and tip it to the Aggies. Hey, man, you lose Le'Veon Moss, and Reuben Owens goes in there, and E.J. Smith goes in there, and the guy who I absolutely love, Amari Daniels, goes in there.
Yeah.
And Jamari Morrow goes in there, and are all productive.
Yeah.
You know why I love
America?
Amari Daniels.
Oh, why do you love Amari Daniels?
I'll tell you why. Because
selfless.
He has led A&M in rushing before for a season, and he came in last year, and I thought he played pretty well.
Yeah.
And he didn't leave. How many guys would just say, look, I know I can play, and I can look around, and I can find a place to go. I mean, you look all over the SEC. Arkansas's running back is from New Mexico State. South Carolina was from Utah State. You can look at just about everyone. They're key players for somebody else. Yep. Amari Daniels could have found another place to go and started. And he's still here. I love you, Amari Daniels.
I love you too, Amari. So, Opie, flipping the conversation now to this. Do you think Brian Kelly gets fired if LSU loses that game by 10?
No. I mean, I think he gets fired. I don't think he gets fired the next day.
Okay. So it's the way they lost, right?
Yeah, I think, look, it can't set well with anybody with money who's at that stadium. They're not in the stadium. They're in the stadium, but they're not in the bleachers. They're in
the booth.
Right? Yeah. And you're looking at, and you see, I mean, it's the start of the fourth quarter, and almost everybody, and I'm seriously, the vast majority of LSU fans have gone. They left. They surrendered. They waved the white flag, and A&M is having a party in your stadium, in your home. And they said, no, now, they went all Hall and Oates. Said, we can't go for that. No can do.
Yeah, to me, it's just a representation of where we are in college football. Penn State, not that they got embarrassed by the score. They got embarrassed by the people who beat them. UCLA, who was horrible, hadn't won yet, had just fired their coach, right. And Northwestern, who doesn't beat the South or the North or the East. They don't beat anybody, right? And they lost both of those games in a year that they were the number 2 ranked team, and some people had them at number 1. Mm-hmm. It's because they were embarrassed. And I think an embarrassing loss is what kind of speeds up the process.
Well, I think you also have to factor in the fact that Brian Kelly, how do I say this in a nice way? He's kind of a D-bag. And he alienated a lot of people. Thank God for Brian Kelly, because Tommy Moffitt is here.
Yes.
And people in Baton Rouge, see that, and it's just and another thing. And another thing. And another thing is he fired Tommy Moffitt. And another thing, Tommy Moffitt went to A&M and came back. Yeah. So if Brian Kelly was a nice guy that had embraced everything, the culture of LSU, and I mean embracing culture, I don't mean getting up there and come up with some, dipstick fake Southern accent, then maybe he would have had more grace. But I think it was one of those things. It's kind of like when Nebraska finally had enough of Bo Pelini. He wasn't unsuccessful. He just was a pain in the neck.
Yeah, well, and sometimes I look at Kelly and I'm like, God, there's so many similarities in a different way. I don't think that Jimbo was a bag of...
No, he wasn't.
Right? But the more he lost, the more we realized he didn't fit. And I think sometimes you don't fit or you do fit, right? I think Jimbo fit initially, but the game passed him by. The game has passed Brian Kelly by, and he wasn't a good fit.
And he's not a nice person. Again,
I don't like the way he talked to his team or his coaches, even if he was right.
I saw, I think it was Josh Pate. I was watching his podcast. I think it was him, and he said, "You knew," because he's wearing the headset, right?
Mhm.
He knows the plays that are coming in, and he's berating his offensive coordinator for calling a
pass play.
pass into the flat
Mhm.
with no timeout, and he's berating him. But he knew what the play was going to be called because he's wearing. But he also knows, as Josh Pate pointed out, that the cameras are going to be on me,
Mhm.
and people can read my lips, and it's not my fault; it's his fault.
I saw on Twitter a video of him, and I had forgotten this happened, when he was at Notre Dame going after one of his assistants.
Oh, yeah. He's lucky that guy didn't just punch him.
That guy gave him a look like, bro, you best watch out.
Yeah, I saw that. A lot of Brian Kelly videos are coming out this week.
Does he coach again?
Yes, because
is he like 64, 65?
I don't know. That's a young guy, man. So
good looking dude. Right?
I think look, he still won at LSU.
Yeah,
not to their standards, but he won, so he's never lost. Somebody will hire him, and he will probably have to have some humility and understand. I can't just keep treating people.
North Carolina, would that make sense? Is that a good step if they move on from Belichick?
See, if I was North Carolina, I'd say, no, look, I need to just go young, try to find a young, hip guy that people are going to just like.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me until that part. So
put a lot of fight in their team.
What is the best job available?
That's a hell of a question.
I mean, to me, it seems like it's LSU, except like
supposedly they're running out of money.
Yeah, but if they can pay for this,
they always find a way, don't they?
LSU has got of all the jobs open, the most prestige in the history, right? And it's more, the last 25 years, but the last three coaches before Brian Kelly all won a national championship. So there's huge expectations there. Lane Kiffin, I don't know why I don't see him going there. He might.
Yeah, he might.
I think Lane Kiffin should just stay at Ole Miss.
Yeah, well, I think we all do.
I mean, for multiple reasons, but they're going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, they are. With that schedule they have left in front of them,
they're 11-1.
It's a cakewalk, man.
Yeah, they're just hoping A&M or Bama loses.
Find me that, if you can, that Ole Miss schedule, what's left. But it's a cakewalk. I think Mississippi State might be the toughest game they have left.
They might have Florida as well. But again, let's see. They've got, South Carolina, the Citadel, Florida, Mississippi State.
Maybe they'll lose one in there and finish 10-2, but I don't think so.
All Lane Kiffin does is doesn't matter the quarterback. He puts up big numbers and they win games. The guy's a really good coach.
He is a really good coach, but I think you could have coached him against that schedule.
Could Brian Kelly?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Florida's a better job.
Maybe. Yeah. I just asked myself, where would I rather live?
That's part of the conversation
Florida
too.
or
and what about Penn State?
If Matt Rule turns them down, I don't know which direction. Who's the guy that I'm thinking it's got to be loving his situation is Eli
Drinkowitz. He's going to go if he wants to leave. I kind of hope he does. Takes one of those gigs.
Oh yeah.
He'll win at LSU. If he did pretty well at Missouri, I think he'll win at LSU.
And he still gets to be a Tiger.
Yeah. He doesn't have to change a lot of his shirt. I mean, you just got to change the color.
Yeah, just the pearl. He still has the gold part.
Yeah,
just the
purple part. Yeah. So, do you think that's how it shakes out?
And they would like him there because drink. They like to drink.
That's true. That's a good point.
They like to drink a lot.
14 and up, you can drink there. Yeah. So he'll
change his name to Drink daiquiris?
Could you see Drink at Ole Miss, or is that too lateral of a move? If let's say Lane goes to Florida or LSU,
I think if. Who knows, right? All speculation. I think if Drink doesn't, I think Drink's going to end up wherever Kiffin doesn't. For instance, if Kiffin chooses LSU instead of Florida, Drink goes to Florida.
Yeah.
Vice versa.
You know what would worry me?
What?
John Summerall at LSU. Have you watched that dude in an interview?
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he is. But you know what?
Doesn't matter.
It's
we got Elko.
It's true too. But also, he's at Tulane, right? Yeah. A lot of times, there's tons of these coaches that move up and do well.
We just saw one in Billy Napier.
There's tons that don't.
Yeah.
So
well, that's what my point. Like Billy Napier was supposed to be the hot
that's
guy,
what I mean.
and he came from the coaching tree.
Scott Frost.
Yeah.
UCF, Nebraska, perfect. I think you got to work hard to lose at LSU.
By the way, you remember that horrific, great idea I had about the Elko shirts, but in Spanish?
Okay.
The EL-KO for like knockout. Elko. People are on every show we do. They're putting it's honestly a thing now. It's become a thing. I'm hearing daily, if not hourly. In fact, I think, just got a text about it.
Okay.
So we need to make those
then
shirts.
You got to put something in Spanish on the back.
It is.
Like, no, Elko is not on the front. Okay.
Elko, Elko.
And then on the back, something in Spanish, some kind. Like, if you could come up with does Mike have a catchphrase other than starting every sentence with yeah?
Yeah.
Or
what is this catchphrase?
I don't think he has one.
We just put grind on the back, bro.
Grind.
Yeah. That's all his shirts
say. How do you say grind in Spanish?
Grind.
Oh.
Grind. This is TexAgs Live. That's what I go to when I don't know the word in Spanish. Just go into Spanish accent. Hey, how do you say cafeteria in Spanish? Cafeteria, which is, by the way, the truth.
Yeah, I've heard that about Whataburger. Whataburger.
Whataburger. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in
the.
Uh-oh.
I want to
sing your moment.
No, I'm not going to sing it in Spanish.
Sí, Rolo.
Oh, I was going to. Okay. In the Rolo and Show studio.
That's French.
To me, they're all the same. The only accent I can do is
East Texas.
East Texas.
All right. We're going to continue with your Spanish flair. We call this hour the what?
The go hour.
No, in Spanish.
The cool hour. The Vámonos hour.
Presented by the Warehouse of CC Creations.
See.
And,
C.
Currently, where are we, Obi?
We're in the holistic planning.
No, in Spanish. Estamos.
Vato, we're in the holistic planning cool zone.
You went vato?
I had to get into character.
Did you just watch American Me or something?
I had to get into character. Cabron?
Hijo de la. All right. Sorry, I forgot what we're doing. If you want to call us, you can call us on the what?
On the puppies, catering, our amigo puppy, Bucky, catering and bartending.
Every potential stereotype. You did Speedy Gonzalez. You did Vato.
You know what? I like to think I'm kind of
you're allowed
Hispanic
to
myself.
Yeah, you're in the community. You go to the meetings.
Yeah,
you got a Spanish wife or a Mexican wife. Okay, puppies.
Esposa.
The phone number is 979.
No, I'm not even going to try that. 979-693-1150.
If you want to be a part of the conversation, you call it, you text it. We go around the room, say hi to the people. Can we continue the Spanish flair? Nick Savage.
No, I honestly have nothing to follow that up with. I mean, that was I was hoping he was going to continue it into when I came on, but I got nothing. I can't follow that up. I'm sorry.
What do you have on your mind this morning?
I think the bye week's coming at a perfect time. Not only for us because we get a nice relaxing week to watch football, but back-to-back two bye weeks in the year now, and they both follow wins. So I feel like that's good for the momentum of the team, and we'll look forward to Missouri next week. But again, bye week's coming at a great time this season.
Get healthy, get rest, get focused. Have that same week of practice you had again for LSU, getting ready for Missouri, because they're coming for you. Every team you play, Missouri will rush the field if they beat you, right? Don't let them have that party.
I don't think they'd rush the field.
Beat a number 3 team at home?
But I think they feel like they're good enough that it's not a big shock if they win this year.
What's their best? Can you Google that? Their best win at home, and when that was.
I know one year they beat Texas. I know one year they beat Texas and did rush the field.
Yeah,
but maybe they will. But I just.
But how about we don't find out?
No,
in fact, we won't.
We won't. Maybe the Aggies should rush their field.
Well, we rushed LSU's field, that's for sure.
Well, they didn't rush it, but they just took over the stadium.
We took over the stadium. Can you imagine if that was Kyle Field in the reverse? We don't leave in the third quarter, though.
That's true.
Like, we stay.
I think Richard Zane left once.
I have family members that, like, even if we're winning, we'll leave early because they want to beat traffic. They're anti-traffic people.
I would rather celebrate longer and let the traffic clear out.
Yeah.
That's the way I would do it.
The most recent Missouri upset at home was that 61-yard field goal that they beat number 15 Kansas State. Yeah, they rushed the field for that. So that's their most recent
Okay, if they'll
upset.
rush the field for that, then they definitely rush the field.
But they're not going to find out.
No, they're not going to.
All right, let's go to the Angry Elephant News and social censor, McKinley Polansky.
Hola.
What's up, Popo?
Hola.
¿Cómo estás?
Bien.
¿Qué quieres hablar de qué? What do you want to talk about?
I only took 3 years of Spanish, and so I'm not the best at it. But I'm good. How are y'all?
Pretty good. Estamos bien. Muy bien.
I'm feeling great after this weekend. I went to the game, and the 12th man is amazing. I'll just say that.
The 12th man is amazing.
Yes.
You had a good time?
Yes, it was awesome. And honestly, their fans were pretty nice to us. So it was good. It was good. It was a great time. I wanted to experience Death Valley, and I definitely got the experience. So yes. Going into that, Marcel Reed earned his first SEC Offensive Player of the Week award, and Cassius Howell was named the Defensive Lineman of the Week for the 3rd time in 2025. Marcel Reed was the first Aggie to score a pair of rushing and passing scores in a true road game since Johnny Manziel did it against Auburn in his Heisman Trophy season in 2012.
That seems surprising to me.
Yeah. Obi, a lot of football left. I say that, and I feel like I don't have to clarify every time or quantify, but a lot of football left. This has been the most fun since 2012, right?
Oh, this has been a Mardi Gras. It's been an Aggie Mardi Gras.
And 2012 was incredible because
this has been even more fun than 2012.
Yeah, but I think 2012 it came out of nowhere, and I think we felt this was possible.
Possible. But let's be honest.
Nobody thought this.
We were saying,
if you win 1 of the 3 on the road,
maybe they went 8-4, or they've always been 8-4, but I think they can go 9-3.
9-3 would be a disappointment.
Oh, huge disappointment.
It would be kicked off.
I'm not even going to allow myself to even consider the possibility.
Let's go 12-0. All right, we'll come back with you in a little bit, McKinley. Let's talk food, shall we?
Yeah, let's do.
All right. I'm in the mood for some. I want you to switch it up, okay? You can't start off with succulent brisket at $17.75.
No.
I don't care what you do, but here, I got succulent brisket here. I've got your turkey here. I've got your pork ribs here. I'm just going to mix them up. And the queso mac and cheese here.
Don't forget the jalapeno cheese sauce.
Okay, I'm going to put that here. Pick one, talk about it, go.
Okay. You know what? I really like those pork ribs. Pork ribs are awesome. In fact, I get them quite often. But the jalapeno cheese sausage is so good. I usually eat sausage almost as a side dish.
Right.
The last time I was there, I just ordered sausage. It takes it to places sausage has never been. I like it so much that I sent a text message last week. I communicate quite often with Marcel Reed's dad, Rod.
Mr. Reed.
And said, hey, next time you're in town, 1775, my treat. He said, you're on.
Can I go?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Still your treat?
Yeah. So that's how good it is that the father of the 2025 Heisman Trophy winner.
Who's got a better case than him right now?
Nobody. And who's had better queso mac and cheese than 1775? Nobody.
1775 TXBBQ.com 979-492-6241. It's
great, just like Marcel Reed.
Muy bueno.
Hey everyone, it's David and Olin from the Holistic Planning
Cool Zone.
You know, I like when we have the chairs here because I don't feel like I have to do this when we're talking about holistic planning. But they want you to know, TexAgs subscribers, they take care of the TexAgs subscribers.
Oh, absolutely. Take care of everybody.
They want to know that anybody who signs up by November 27, 2025 will receive this awesome offer. If the Aggies beat the Longhorns or win in Austin on November 28, 2025, clients will pay no management fees to Holistic Planning for the entire 2026 calendar year.
That's free.
It's free 99. Actually, just free.
All you got to do is beat Texas. Well, it's not if they beat Texas, it's when they beat Texas.
When. And when you go to holisticplanning.com, you're going to love Holistic Planning. So it is holisticplanning.com. Check out the website and take advantage of this awesome offer.
My feelings are a little hurt, OB. No shot at, no like disrespect to you, okay?
Okay.
But James Ellis on the YouTube page asked the question, who's got better arms, OB or Nuño? And he goes, I'm leaning OB, which now means I'm going to have to hit the gym 9 times today because the fact that somebody on this show...
Well, that's not true, but let's do a flex off here.
No, it's really weird to do that. Sorry, I had to stop.
Next, let's do the javelin pose.
Obi, why don't you show how deep of a squat you can get into?
No, because then I'll never get up.
It's TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is the Go Hour presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. Orale, OB. Let's get into the performance of the week.
Okay.
I think it's kind of easy, no crees?
Well, if we're going to say, how we spell week here? Because if you're going to say WEAK, I'm just going to say the LSU Tigers.
Oh.
Overall.
Yeah.
But beyond that.
Or if you were talking about weeks.
Yeah, well, he didn't even show. Well, his brother did.
Yeah.
I got to start with KC Concepcion. The punt return for a touchdown was magnificent. It was beautiful. It was art. And then he also had the touchdown catch where he came back for the ball. Ran well when he had, on some runs. I thought KC was among several spectacular players. Among those, some of the guy throwing to KC was pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. So I have KC on my list. I have Marcel on my list. I also have the offensive line on my list.
They were great.
They've been great, right?
Yeah.
How many times has he been sacked? Marcel been sacked recently?
I think this is now 3 games in a row without a sack.
That's pretty darn good, my friend.
That's 0.
Yeah, that's 0. Anybody on defense?
Well, yeah, but I want one more guy on offense.
Do it.
And he only had 1 catch, but damn.
Was it the one-handed?
Ashton Bethel Roman, man, you make catches like that. It's a damn shame that they didn't.
Look, OB, I got him on my list right here. ABR.
I didn't, get to be watching like ESPN Top 10 or anything. I can't imagine there was a more spectacular play made Saturday
so beautiful.
than that one.
He's emerged the last few weeks, right?
Yeah. Defense, gosh. Well, Cassius Howell.
Mashes Howell. Mashing fools.
Mash them. Smashes Howell.
Smash and mash.
Crashes Howell.
Oh, yeah, I can't think of any more.
Well, give me that.
Luscious? No, that doesn't work.
Yeah, what's that? I mean, Polanski over there probably thinks he's luscious, but I don't go that way. Anyway, the way he was slashing there, he was slashes Hal.
Slashes Hal, yeah.
There's no limit to the rhymes, and there's a lot of reasons to believe that this guy's going to be the SEC Defensive Player of the Year.
He might be my favorite Howell that I know. Sorry, Jason.
And Howell. So I think he was brilliant. I think.
How about TJ Searcy?
I think TJ Searcy played well. I'm trying to think.
I'm going to give one more.
Somebody that just
okay. I'm going to give Jay Bateman and Mike Elko props because defensively they figured out the puzzle in the second half.
Yeah, but don't they always?
Yeah, that's what they do.
I mean, we're almost going to get to where you take for granted. I was looking it up yesterday. That A&M has given up 5 touchdowns in the last 7.5 minutes of fourth quarters, and 3 of them in the last minute. And of these 5 touchdowns, 4 of them, A&M had a double-digit lead.
Yep.
And so, if you took those 5 touchdowns away, because A&M's like 13th in the SEC in scoring defense, but if you took those 5 meaningless touchdowns, they don't care that UTSA gets a touchdown with 14 seconds. The backups are in when Utah State scores with 5 minutes. Arkansas scores with 10 seconds. So what, right? So if you take those touchdowns that really didn't matter out, they actually are like 7th or 8th in the SEC, just ahead of Georgia.
Right. And if you think about it offensively, they're scoring 40-plus in 3 of those of their wins this year, which means there's more defensive opportunities because the game is played at that kind of offensive clip.
Right. If they don't have the interception against Auburn, that's
16-3.
So you really don't want to it goes against the defense, but is it really?
Is it not really? It's not really.
Right. So I think the defense, we know people outside of College Station that, just looks at scores and stats don't know that defense is a lot better than its stats
indicate.
Would indicate.
Yep. Polanski, you got a couple for us?
I do. Texas A&M volleyball's Afena Kozak-Paula was named SEC Defensive Player of the Week following a pair of road wins. She's doing great this season, by the way. Kazakh Paula added another honor to her outstanding resume as she was awarded her 3rd SEC Defensive Player of the Week award, 5th conference accolade this season, and 11th weekly award of her career following wins over LSU and Ole Miss. The senior racked up 10 blocks, 16 kills, and added 5 aces in 7 sets of work.
What's her name?
Afina Kazakh Paula.
What kind of name is that?
Amazing.
Casapala.
Casapala. It's not Italian.
Yeah.
You have any more?
Yeah. Cassius Howell added to his SEC best sacks total with a pair of takedowns against LSU. He's great. Got Defensive Player of the Week. I want to talk about Jamarian Morrow.
Okay.
Is the first Aggie freshman since Devon Achane. I think I said that wrong. It's Achane. I know. To record both a rushing and receiving touchdown in the same game. I thought that was interesting.
It is interesting. He's really good.
Yeah.
I like him.
I like that.
I like that kid a lot. He's going to play a lot of football for this team. Let's hit a break. When we come back, Charean the Dream.
All right.
On the Buppies Catering Hotline.
It's like talking football with Charean.
Yep. All right, let's hit a break here. Right now we're talking about Rollo Insurance. They build lasting relationships through education and also through just being there for you when you need them. They're going to help you understand what you're buying and the why behind it with expertise in every type of insurance out there, from home to auto to business and specialty coverage. Their independent agents provide a tailored option specific to your needs. They take time to explain that policy in plain language, ensuring that you're never left wondering about your coverage. Their educational approach empowers you to make informed decisions about protecting your family, your home, and of course your business. Many clients discover more competitive rates simply because they finally understand their options. Experience the difference at one of their 60-plus offices in the great state of Texas, but of course their headquarters are right here in College Station on Highway 6. Visit them at rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs, rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs, or call them up, 888-44-ROLLO. It is Rollo Insurance. You ever talk in your sleep?
No, one time I stayed up all night to see if I did, and I never did.
No, you stayed up. TexAgs Live, we're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. The Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. Let's go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Charean Williams from Pro Football Talk, and of course, Aggie Hall of Famer and our dear friend here on the show. Charean, good morning. How are you?
I'm always good talking to you guys. Thanks for having me again.
Thank you for coming on the show. So, all right, let's, we got a few days since that beat down in Baton Rouge.
And I know this means a lot to Charean being from Orange.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even not just being an Aggie, but an Aggie from Orange, right there on the Sabine, across from Sabine, from Louisiana. I bet she knows a whole bunch of Cajuns and Tigers.
So how was it for you this weekend?
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, I'm in Beaumont right now, and lots of LSU Tigers here in the Golden Triangle, that's for sure. And a lot of my friends went there, so it was a good one. It was a lot of fun. The second half, and I usually have meltdowns, and my friends usually text me. I'm alone in my living room or with Tom watching the game, and they'll just text me out of the blue and say, "Calm down," because they know I'm getting upset. And I actually didn't get upset in the first half of this one because I was like, you killed yourself. I mean, this should be a blowout right now. You killed yourself, shot yourself in the foot with all these different errors that you made, self-inflicted. It's nothing LSU did. And I knew that Elko would make defensive changes at halftime, and he did. And it all worked out beautifully in the second half. They got rid of all those errors that they made in the first half, and it was something great to watch. I thought that was their best half of football this season, and if they could put a game together, I know it's really hard, but if they put a game together like that, look out. I mean, you got Brian Kelly fired. What more can you do? I mean, that was pretty unbelievable, to be honest. To do it there where they did it, something that hadn't been done before, it was pretty awesome to watch. Hey,
Charean, I know you watch college football, so what teams have you seen that are better than Texas A&M?
I haven't seen enough of Indiana to know. I know the quarterback's very good. I've only seen the highlights. I really haven't watched any of their games. Saw Ohio State in the first game and, against Texas, and they struggled against what's turned out to be a pretty mediocre team, but it was the first game of the year, so it's really hard to judge anything on the first game of the year. Teams change. They get better. They have film. They had no film on Arch at that time, no film on the Texas defense, didn't know what to expect. So I think they've probably gotten better from that first game. But I don't know that we've seen a better win among the top teams than A&M has against Notre Dame, at Notre Dame, and at LSU. And you can say whatever you want about LSU. You look at their record in Death Valley, the way they've played there, the way they've won there. It's a difficult place to play. So considering those two things, I don't know that I've seen one better. I don't know if they're even the best team in the SEC. Georgia and Ole Miss and Alabama may be better. I don't know. I want to find out, though. And that's the exciting part is, you keep winning and you get to the SEC championship game and you see if you can win that one against one of those teams, and you win or lose, you go to the playoff and you judge yourself against those other teams to see how good you are. So I want to find that out, but I don't know that based on what these other teams have done, their resumes, I don't know that it's any better than what A&M has done. They're just the exciting thing, Olin, is they're just getting better every week, I think, offensively and defensively. We need to work on special teams, I will say, on at least on the punts.
Charean, I want to kind of go through your Aggie history, right? Before you were at A&M, through the time at A&M to now. Is this the most sure you've been of a team since when?
Oh, she covered some great teams.
Yeah, and I don't know. Yeah, some of those Jackie teams, when I was in school, actually were, you felt good about them and they had a chance. I would say the best since Johnny. I think with Johnny, it's amazing what a difference a quarterback makes. And, I think it's a reason that Texas didn't win a national championship the last 2 years. I think we're going to look back in the future. I think what some of their players are going to do in the NFL, we're going to say, how did they not win a national championship with the talent they had? Well, the reason they didn't is the quarterback wasn't good enough. Quinn Ewers was okay. He wasn't good enough to win a national championship with, and some of it was injuries last year. You have to have the quarterback. So if you look back, I think it was when the Aggies had Johnny Manziel. You just felt good that he was going to give you a chance to win every single game. But the defense wasn't nearly as good as the defense is now. That's for sure. And then those Jackies teams, in the 80s when I was at school, were really good. You felt like they had a chance, every single game. And some of the 90s teams were very good as well. But you have to have the quarterback. If you don't have the quarterback, I just don't think you have a chance to win in college or pro. It just makes all the difference. And I didn't know how Marcel Reed, I'll be honest, I didn't know how he was going to be. I didn't even know if he'd win the starting job coming into this year. And he did. And he's a guy who's continually gotten better. Olin, you talked about his progressions. We're seeing that. He's, now I think he got a little bit too cocky there on a couple of those passes, particularly one in the red zone that he threw. He thought he had the one-on-one that he wanted and messed that up. I mean, I think he's going to learn for that one too. I don't think you'll see that again.
I am going to put, I'll tell you right now, I'm going to put on my updated Heisman list, I'm going to put Marcel Reed number one. Now, some of you people are going to say, well, that's because you're an Aggie homer, yada, yada, yada. Tell me why I'm wrong to do that, Charean.
At this point, it's legitimate. You can't argue against that. He's one of the only undefeated teams, the quarterback of that team. And again, it goes back to the quarterback. We start talking about MVP in the NFL. Jonathan Taylor's played great, probably deserves consideration. It's about Daniel Jones. It's not about Jonathan Taylor. So if you're going to put a ballot out, you're putting Daniel Jones. You're not putting Jonathan Taylor on your MVP ballot. And I think it's the same at A&M. The quarterbacks made all the difference, Marcel Reed. And so you have to, he's got to be up there as one of the guys, as one of the only undefeated teams of the country, top three, right along with the other two quarterbacks of the other two teams who are in the top three. I think you put those guys in any order you want, and you could be right.
All right, Charean, let's get to some Aggies in the NFL. Go ahead.
No, that's because I don't want to talk about the Cowboys. So.
Well, I mean, if the Cowboys come up, but let's talk about it because I know we've got Myles Garrett coming up at some point.
Well, you think? Let's go a little honorable mention here with Devon Achane, 18 carries, 67 yards, 5 catches, 24 yards, and a touchdown. Dolphins get the win. Number 3, how about Nick Scorton? 2 weeks in a row, he's got a sack. This is a half sack this week, 5 tackles, 1 quarterback hit, playing really well. Number 2 should be obvious. Aaron Glenn gets his first win as a head coach. Pretty awesome for him. By the way, it was a terrible weekend for NFL football. The only game that was within 10 points was the Jets' win over the Bengals. Every other game was double digits. Myles Garrett, 5 sacks, 6 tackles, 1 forced fumble, and he was not real happy after the game because the Browns lost. But I will say it was his decision to sign the contract, so he is there and probably going to take many more losses.
How do you get 5 sacks from one guy and lose? And they lost bad, like she was talking about.
He was ticked off.
I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Maybe they ought to see if he can pass.
And Vrabel talked about him after the game, Patriots coach, and it wasn't just he wasn't a single block. They did everything they could to stop him, and he was just unstoppable on Sunday. It was an amazing performance, and now it's tied for the NFL lead in sacks, another double-digit sack season. Only 2 other guys have had as many double-digit sack seasons as our Myles Garrett has had. I think the number now is 112 for his career. So he's getting up there as one of the greatest of all time.
Charean, we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Charean Williams there on the Puppy's Catering Bartending Hotline. We'll hit a break. All right, Aggie fans, get ready for a Saturday you'll never forget. Fitterman Sports is bringing the Maroon and White spirit to Houston with an epic autograph meet and greet featuring your fighting Texas Aggie football stars, the legends and the leaders in the future of A&M football. Come meet Johnny Manziel, the Heisman Trophy winner, along with rising stars Marcel Reed, Casey Concepcion, and Mario Craver. For Aggies, one forgettable day is happening this Saturday, November the 1st at Fitterman Sports Post Oak location inside of Central Supply right here in Houston, or right there in Houston, I should say. Bring your helmets, your jerseys, and unbeatable Aggie pride for autographs, photos, and memories that'll last a lifetime, and tickets are going fast. So head to FittermanSports.com right now and lock in yours before they are gone, and make sure to follow Fitterman Sports on Facebook and Instagram for all the action. That's FittermanSports.com on Saturday, November the 1st. Fitterman Sports, the fighting Texas Aggies, go be there. Hey guys, David Nuño here to talk about our new partners with EventPipe. They are a leader in hotel booking technology, and now they're giving you a chance to support Aggie student athletes every time that you travel. Thanks to their partnership with United and EventPipe, whether you're heading into a game, a business trip, or family vacation, every room that you book comes with cash back in the pockets of Aggie athletes. That's a wonderful deal. And with EventPipe, you'll get discounted hotel rates up to 20% lower than the major travel sites while enjoying a fast, easy booking process. They've even created Presto, EventPipe's quick launch booking solution. It lets organizations build branded hotel sites powered by live hotel inventory, making it simple to book the perfect stay. So next time you want to book a trip, do it the smart way with EventPipe and support Texas Aggies NIL through United. Visit their website, tau.eventpipe.com. As a reminder, the final segment of the program is brought to you by Double Dave's. That is at 10:50. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza. They've been serving Aggieland since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com and your favorites are on their way. OB, kind of a quiet week, and I'm okay with that. Let's savor the 8-0 start for a little bit longer and then go for 9-0.
Yeah, I think it's good that they have an open week, even though I really want to see them play.
Yeah.
You know, playing well, you want to keep it going, but maybe it's not a bad idea, especially after an emotional win over LSU, to have a chance to refocus.
Thank you, OB. When we come back, Josh Pate, that and more. You're listening to TexAgs Live. We are back here, keeping the season alive on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studios. Now time for our weekly segment with Josh Pate, brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. And they want to honor the military and first responders for all that you do. And from the 19th of October through November the 11th, they're showing their thanks with 10% off at your local Academy store and online at academy.com/discount. Exclusions do apply. We go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Our buddy, Josh Pate, is joining us to chit-chat all things college football. What's up, Josh?
Well, I'm up, David. I actually stayed up and watched the World Series last night, and I got regrets about it, but I did see the endings, which is more than most of America can say.
Our Richard Zane, who's our publisher and managing editor, he's a huge Dodgers fan. He stayed up for it, and I didn't hear him celebrate, but I'm sure if I were anywhere near him within a few streets, he would have been very loud. I heard that George Springer got hurt, and that bothers me because I'm a big George guy.
Yeah, it went on and on and on and on. I always have a theory about West Coast baseball games, which is it's harder to hit home runs because of marine layer the later the game gets, which means if you get an extra innings, it could go for a while on the West Coast. So that's basically a doubleheader of a World Series night. So I'm sure that feels great.
Josh, I should have pulled this clip, but I wasn't thinking ahead where I want to go with you in this topic. But a week ago, you were on this show, and we talked about the 20-1 record that Brian Kelly has that night at LSU. And then you were very poetic and prophetic, and you kind of were Nostradamus. I'm all over the place here, where you're like, yeah, it's a great place, but if you're beating them down, they'll leave in a hurry, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of stuff you say over the course of a year. Some of it's wrong, and people trash you for it, and then the right stuff, people just kind of forget it. So, number one, golden star on your chest to you for this. I thought that game was pretty easy to see coming. Thought the outcome was pretty easy to see coming. In fact, I kind of thought it was easy to see coming the week before when they went and lost to Vandy. That was kind of wheels in motion time for LSU. So here's the great irony of it. That may not hit you guys there, but it's hitting me watching the national reaction. Everyone's forgotten about A&M winning the game emphatically because Brian Kelly got fired. So everyone's talking about Brian Kelly getting fired. I don't mean you guys, I mean nationally. So there are times, I think, in a college football season where a team announces they're a rival to the world. And that was A&M's flag plant moment in Tiger Stadium. And if Brian Kelly still had his job right now, I think people would be focused on it a little bit more. But they're not. And A&M goes into a bye week, so they're not playing again immediately, so they're not right in front of your face again. None of this is a bad thing. I think it's a good thing because it kind of just delays what I think is the inevitable, which is a Texas A&M playoff appearance and people having to recalibrate how they talk about A&M because a lot of the stuff they said could never happen is happening. But I do want to say this. Okay, so Saturday played out pretty much how I thought it would. You and I talked last week. I thought A&M would win. I thought they'd win comfortably, maybe not by that margin, but I thought it would be a double-digit victory. So all that's happened. Brian Kelly's fired, all that. All right, moving forward, the one important thing to note, and this is where A&M hasn't been quite yet, is November is the longest month of the year in college football. Not in terms of total days, but if you're in contention, the length of November feels like an eternity. It feels like 9 weeks worth of games. Because you're breathing air you just haven't breathed. And I know this time last year, A&M was in the thick of a maybe outside in competing for a playoff spot. They're in one of the pole positions right now. So this is going to be a little different. That is also a good thing. It sounds like I'm speaking negatively. It's a good thing. What is going to happen, though, is a bunch of people, and this includes Mike Elko, this includes everyone there, they're being put in positions for the first time. And Oregon had this happen to them last year, and they go wire to wire, and then they get blown out in the first round of the playoff. And I remember talking to people there, and they were like, they had a million different reasons for why they thought it happened. That's not to say that's going to happen to A&M. Everyone deals with their first time being in this kind of position differently, and that's like part B of what I'll be paying attention to with them every bit as much as the game results themselves down the stretch.
Josh, I think they were trending towards firing Brian Kelly, but I didn't really believe it was going to happen until it was that kind of beatdown. Let's just say they would have lost by 10 points, or it just didn't seem as one-sided as it was. Is Brian Kelly the coach today?
It all depends on sorry about that. It all depends on how the next morning would have gone. So the two things that I think played a factor here. Let's go in reverse order. So, of course, the margin of victory is the first thing. Beyond that, though, I thought for anyone who watched the broadcast in its entirety, ABC basically put on a Texas A&M infomercial. The entire fourth quarter was nothing but praise of A&M because they were blowing them out in Tiger Stadium. Anytime there was an LSU mention, it was zooming in on Brian Kelly, dog cussing another assistant coach for executing a game plan that Brian Kelly had approved, or it was zooming in on fire Brian Kelly signs in the crowd, or zooming in on empty seats except for the A&M section, which was full and loud. And then you've got the entire scene that if I were an A&M fan, I'd probably watch 5 times a day, just the post-game celebration in another team's building. That is such a slap in the face to LSU people. They look at that, and it's hard to stomach. It would be no different than Texas doing it in Kyle Field. It'd be no different. And I think that pushed some of them over the top. But then even the next morning, I think if Brian Kelly would have agreed to all the demands that the administration was making about some staff changes, he still would have been there till the end of the year. But when he pushed back, which I don't even blame him for in that regard, but when he pushed back, I think people realized there, hey, what's going to happen eventually is going to need to happen immediately here. And, I mean, that was morning. 6 hours later, he was out of a job. So that moved pretty quickly. It all works downstream of that result. But I think even if it would have been a close game, there's a chance it doesn't happen, but there's still a distinct possibility it does happen the next day.
Josh, I think fit sometimes is a sports talk, kind of like just a talking point to fill time. But I kind of want to go through this because I think when it works, it certainly does work. So when Brian Kelly, when he first got there, it didn't seem like a good fit, but they win the SEC West, they get to the SEC championship game, they have a chance for the playoffs. People are okay with it. I'm going to go now to Coach Elko, who does not care about history, right? I don't care what happened at Texas A&M. I care about what I'm doing with my players right now. Elko seems to fit A&M, and BK never seemed to fit LSU. Am I wrong, at least outside of just the winning and losing, just the way they go about their press conferences, the way they talk, the way they are about that life?
So a couple of things there. All right, let's unpack that. So Mike Elko fits Texas A&M because he embraces what Texas A&M is. But even if he embraces all that and he doesn't win, he won't be a fit because you'll get rid of him because he's not doing what you brought him there to do. Brian Kelly came to LSU, and everyone focused on, like the accent stuff and how clownish some of the early sound bites were and all that. And I had fun with it too, but I maintained none of this will matter if he embraces the resources there and he wins, because that's really what fit is anywhere. He didn't do that. He didn't embrace the resources. Like, that's the biggest crime he committed there, is he took one of the best jobs in the country and he didn't embrace what it had to offer. Also, my smoke alarm's going off, if you hear that. All right, we're good. Never mind. House is not on fire, David. Okay, so they looked at him and they thought, and just like I thought, hey, we don't care if you have a Southern accent. By the way, don't fake it if you don't have one. That's a bigger crime. But also, just embrace the resources Louisiana has to offer. Well, he came down there and didn't do any of that and checked out on recruiting. And that's stuff Mike Elko will never do. Okay, that's why I have confidence in saying Mike Elko fits at Texas A&M. He fits there because he didn't go to Texas A&M asking, what can A&M do for me? He kind of went in there saying, what can I do for A&M while A&M does something for me? Like, that's a give and take. That's mutually beneficial. I don't think Brian Kelly ever asked for a second, what can I do for LSU? It's just, that's what can LSU do for me? And you know what? That's partly his fault. But I'll also say this. Don't you have to more thoroughly vet him in the hiring process? Now, this sounds like revisionist history or Monday morning quarterbacking on my part, but I think it's kind of fair. I sitting in Columbus, Georgia, where I was at the time, or I guess I was in Nashville by that time, I didn't have the kind of perspective on Brian Kelly I probably needed to, but I also didn't have the access to him. that anyone who's going to hire him had. And you go back and look at all these Notre Dame folks and look at all the reactions they had when he left, and they laid it out. They spelled it out perfectly. I mean, they were basically very prophetic in their own right in talking about what was going to happen with him at LSU. So it wasn't like it was unable to be known. It just wasn't adhered to. It wasn't listened to. Got to be kidding me. All right, we're good again. And you know what? This would be happening even if I were on Zoom right now.
I can barely hear it.
All right, we're good. Well, so the thing is, David, they sent an email out this morning and said from the hours of like lunchtime on, we may have the smoke alarm issues. And man, it may be lunchtime in Europe, but it's not here. Anyway, I think we're good for now.
Hey, maybe I want this to be the case. I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I lie to myself and I don't realize it. But I think Lane Kiffin will. I don't know. Today, I feel like Lane Kiffin's going to stay at Ole Miss. I don't know. Is it because they'll probably make the playoffs with the rest of their schedule? I don't know. There's something that tells me he will, but I understand the lure of an LSU, and that would worry me for Lane to go there or Summerall to go there. I understand the lure of Florida. How do you see these coaching musical chairs going, Josh?
So I know everyone is trying to read into every social media post he puts out, or they're trying to basically project pros and cons, and here's why he would go here or there. I don't think he knows what he's going to do yet. I've maintained this with you for a few weeks. I really think if you go into your own life and you think about the biggest decisions you've ever had to make, personally or professionally, but especially professionally, you hypothesize and you live in these theoreticals in your mind, and you kind of think you have a pretty good idea of what you're going to do. But it's not until someone says, here is the offer in black and white, we need an answer, yes or no, that you really find out where your heart is. And I think he enjoys the spotlight so much, and he enjoys the theater of all this so much, that he hasn't gotten an offer in front of him in black and white yet. And when it happens, then and only then will he know where he's going to go. And I really don't think he's arrived at that conclusion yet. So, if I had to lean, I'm going to tell you the same thing I told you a couple of weeks ago. If I had to lean one way or the other, I would slightly lean that he leaves. All right, out of the two jobs, theoretically, that he would have on the table, I would think the LSU job is the better job, but then there could be the argument that he fits Florida more, whatever in the world that means. We've already thrown that word around today. But it's not going to shock me in the least if he stays at Ole Miss. I just don't think it's knowable right now because I don't think he knows yet.
Well, what does that look like if you're in the middle of a playoff run?
I don't know. I don't know what it looks like for any of these guys.
Yeah.
If you make the playoff run, that's the great catch-22 of all this. Is if you fire a coach because he didn't have you as a playoff caliber franchise, organization, whatever word you want to use, theoretically you want to go get a guy that can get you where the previous guy didn't. Well, it stands to reason that caliber coach may be in the playoffs, and that which is okay if you have the patience to wait for it. But this attitude of we fired a guy because we want to make the playoffs, but we're not willing to wait for a coach if he's in the playoffs is just mind-boggling to me. And yet that kind of is where some places are, which is why I'm looking at anywhere from Marcus Freeman to Matt Campbell to Alex Golish to John Summerall, all these guys who are of that caliber but may miss out on the playoff this year for whatever reason. Like Campbell's roster is beat to death, and Iowa State doesn't make it every year anyway. Freeman lost a couple of early games at Notre Dame. Maybe he gets boxed out with 2 losses. He's definitely out with 3 losses. Golish and Summerall, I mean, it's just the G5, so only one of them can make it at max, period. So maybe that's the needle you have to thread. Maybe it has to be right place, right season. But I don't know how it's going to work out for any of them.
Talking to Josh Pate here on TexAgs Live. Josh, is the Texas A&M message board culture, TexAgs message board culture, and A&M fans in general the best athletic director in college football since, in a way, it could have been Mark Stoops. They said something. They got Coach Elko. We're 8-0, feeling good about ourselves. And Coach Stoops, I don't know how much longer he has in Lexington.
It's all I thought about Saturday. When I was watching the game, I was watching both of them. Because I went to the Vandy game early in the day, and that's 5 minutes down the road. So I got home for all the nighttime games. It was really nice. And, I rarely on Saturday am I sitting back on the couch with multiple screens, but I got to do it. and I had Tennessee, Kentucky over there, and of course I got A&M on the main screen with LSU, and I cannot help but glance over at what Tennessee's doing to Kentucky, and it kind of dawned on me as this huge celebration's unfolding in the fourth quarter down in Baton Rouge that, wait, Mark Stoops could have been the head coach here. And I kept thinking about what prevented it, which was A&M fans and not administration there. In fact, administration tried to make it happen. And just to kind of try and play in your mind how different today could be if we change that one thing in history. Because I will also tell you this. I think John Summerall is at Kentucky if that happens. I don't know where Elko is. I don't think A&M would have been celebrating a multi-touchdown win in Baton Rouge. I don't know if Brian Kelly is fired. Maybe he would have done that elsewhere. So many things change there, not to mention what could still be to come. Like A&M could win the national title this year for all we know. They could win the SEC for all we know. So that, I could not shake that Saturday night.
Josh, a lot of these projections have 4 SEC teams making the playoffs, and I'm like, I think it's 5. I think it's 5. At least as of right now, you'd say A&M, Bama, Ole Miss, Georgia, and Vandy, right? And I know there's going to be some losses here and there, but right now, I think there would be 5 teams, and I don't even know from the Big Ten, what, 3, 4, like maybe 3? What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, I'm waiting to see a couple of things. I think the ACC is going to decide this, because there are some really weird scenarios in the ACC, and this is going to sound insane, but trust me, it could happen, where you got 2 or 3 ACC teams making it. The reason is not because those teams are that good. The reason is because their schedule is so jacked up that you've got a bunch of undefeated and one-loss teams that aren't going to end up playing each other. You're talking about your Georgia Techs or your Virginias, your Miamis. And I ran the scenario yesterday. I don't have it off the top of my head, but that could screw things up in terms of getting 5 from the SEC in. Vandy could just lose a couple of games down the stretch, and maybe you just end up with only 4 playoff quality or caliber teams. The Notre Dame thing is something to keep an eye on. So I do see where you're going with that. I wonder, like, take the Big Ten, for example. You're still thinking to yourself right now, I assume your 3 Big Ten teams are Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon, right?
Yep.
Okay. Oregon's got a loss right now. They have to go to Iowa in a couple of weeks, which doesn't look as easy as it once did. And they also still have to play USC and Washington. And that would give them let's just say they lost one of those games. That's a second loss. I still think that 2-loss resume is good enough, but you do start getting into the territory of asking what's their best win. Because even though I respect their Penn State win, because I think they are responsible for killing Penn State, I don't think the committee will, because they'll just look at what Penn State's record ended up being. So the Oregon situation still hangs in the balance to me a little bit as well. So there's a long way to go. Like I said, November's a very long month. I would lean for SEC teams right now, but I'm very close to leaning your way. So one more week, and I may be convinced to follow you on that.
All right, I'll close out with this. If Vandy goes and beats Texas, they still have a long road. We've talked about November, but they start becoming a team you cannot ignore anymore.
Oh, well, I'm not ignoring them now. And if they go and beat Texas, well, then you're talking about having wiggle room, because they are a team that could lose 2 games and get in. So if they go there and they beat them, I already know their schedule off the top of my head. They've got Kentucky and Auburn at home, and then they go to Neyland at the end of the year. So if they just hold serve at home, they could go to Tennessee and lose, and their 2 losses would be at Alabama and at Tennessee. You're not getting left out of the playoff. I don't think they're getting left out of the playoff there. So, yeah, this Saturday, to me, it is really, really on the line for Vanderbilt this Saturday. And that's not even to mention, all the talking points around Texas if they let Vandy come in their house and beat them.
Josh, great stuff, brother. Thanks so much for your time. We'll talk to you next week.
I appreciate it, David.
Later, man. Josh Pate there on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. We'll hit a break. We'll come around and get to your phone calls if you want, 979-693-1150, or you can text the show as well, McKinley. We'll get to those texts. I know there's some we have to pay off on the YouTube page, on the TexAgs Premium chat, and, of course, our text line. Right now, when it comes to your money and your peace of mind, it starts with the right team, and that right team is Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. They're an independent fiduciary serving clients all across Texas. We're talking about no commissions, no sales pitches, just trusted advice tailored to you. They have a team of 18 professionals, including 9 CFPs, a CFA, and a CPA, and their expertise runs deep because at Paragon, credentials do matter, and so does your future. Visit paragon-adv.com or call them up 979-693-3907 to schedule your free consultation today. It is Paragon Financial Advisors. Integrity, expertise, and trust. Paragon Financial Advisors. All right, we're talking about Burlebo, the heart of Texas, more than an outdoor lifestyle brand. It's products created with you in mind. Currently, I'm wearing the performance polo, the Texas maroon and gray. If you look into it, you've got the state of Texas in gray, and you also got it in maroon. It's one of their highest, most popular sales that they have there. It is really nice. Comfort and versatility. You can wear it in any situation. Quick drying, fits the size. But Burlebo, they're rooted in tradition, fueled by passion for the outdoors. Designs high-quality apparel that works just as hard as you do. So whether you're hitting a workout, enjoying a day of fishing, or cheering on your favorite college team, their gear is made for the athlete, the outdoorsman, and the everyday adventure. And it's really nice. I wore this one to church the other day. People talked about it. Really, my kids were like, Dad, you look pretty good today. From athletic shorts to your favorite go-to tees and performance hoodies, they have everything you want. Check out burlebo.com and find your new favorite gear. It's Burlebo for the athlete, for the outdoors, and for the family. Welcome back in. We call it TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Hour number 2 of the show. I'm just going to talk normal. Right? Sometimes I just get into this mode. Hey, so that conversation with Josh Pate, talking about the college football playoffs, I love having a realistic, almost probable conversation about A&M being in the college football playoffs. They got our hold serve. Every time I say that, I feel like I'm a 2%er, but I think they will. I feel very good about. I think we all should feel very good. But because of that conversation about how many SEC teams, ACC, blah, 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 I Google searched and I found what CBS Sports is predicting. And I'll just kind of talk about it with you all because they have 5 SEC teams making it. And I'm going to just kind of tell you how it has the first round going. By the way, it has A&M having a first round bye. Please. Although, Kyle, I'm going to tell you my emotions here.
I know what you're going to say.
My emotions are, I would prefer to have a bye.
Yes.
But I would love to experience a home playoff game at Kyle Field.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I would, if I'm being picky here, right? If I'm allowed, I'd prefer not to have that first game.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Opportunities for injury, opportunities to lose, right? Mm-hmm. I want to get further along in the process. That's just me. Mm-hmm. Everybody's got their opinion. Yes. I think it would be incredible for me to do a TexAgs tailgate show with Richard here in studio and me on the field, getting you ready for a college football playoff game at Kyle Field. That would be amazing.
That'd be crazy.
Okay? I would love that. But for the sake of how far, just the easier path is what I prefer. But whatever. This is what they have, and we'll just talk through it. It has first round of the playoffs, Georgia versus Ole Miss in an 8-9 matchup. The winner of that would face the 1 seed, Ohio State. Okay? Then it has BYU versus Notre Dame. With the winner, by the way, BYU the 7 seed, Notre Dame the 10 seed, the winner would take on the 2 seed, according to this, Alabama. Okay? So that to me means that they believe Alabama is going to win the SEC championship and whatever's. Okay. Then on December the 19th, Oregon, the 6 seed versus the 11 seed, the Vanderbilt Commodores. The winner would take on Indiana. Then the next game, the 5 seed, Georgia Tech versus the 12 seed, Memphis, okay? And the winner there would take on Georgia. Now, where's A&M on this whole thing? Why am I not seeing A&M here?
You said Georgia first versus Ole Miss.
Georgia Tech, I don't know, this is how it has it here. Okay, this is interesting. Quarterfinals, it has Ohio State versus the 8-9 winner, Alabama versus the 7-10 winner. I'm just reading this directly from their page. So if they made a mistake, that's on them. And then it has the Orange Bowl, Indiana versus the 6-11 winner, and the Cotton Bowl, Texas A&M versus the 5-12 winner. And the 5-12 winner here, so they made a mistake here. They put Georgia twice. That's where they made the mistake. I think they did a copy and paste from the week prior where they had Georgia as the 4 seed. The 4 seed here is A&M. So A&M at the Cotton Bowl, according to this, would take on the winner of Georgia Tech versus Memphis.
That'd be interesting.
Me encanta. I mean, there's so many storylines there because Haynes King, right, versus A&M, and give me Memphis.
Yeah.
Give me Memphis, right? So, look, it's not supposed to be easy. It's not going to be easy. This is just CBS Sports' opinion of how things are shaking out today. This is going to change a lot because if Vandy goes into Texas and loses, well, then it's going to become a lot. Even though they have one that they can probably play with, it'll become that much more difficult for them to get in. As for other teams in the college football playoffs, Georgia's got still some games to worry about. They've got Texas in a couple of weeks. So they've got Georgia Tech to close out the season. Georgia Tech's got some games to worry about. So, and nowhere here do I see Miami listed as one of the teams. So I think that's very interesting. Yeah. And Miami has SMU this weekend, I believe. So that's a huge game for a bunch of the bragging rights. So that's where things stand right now. By the way, people forget Memphis, who could be the group of 5 team that gets in, should have lost to Arkansas. But they didn't.
Yep.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. I know you had a couple things you wanted to get into.
Yeah. Mike sent in a question. He said, from looking at the remaining SEC schedule, I believe A&M, Bama, Georgia, and Ole Miss will all make the college football playoffs. And a fifth SEC playoff spot will go to the winner of the Vandy versus Tennessee game in the last week of the season. Is it possible that 6 SEC teams go to the playoffs?
I don't think 6 SEC teams are going to the playoffs. I think 5 is very possible.
Mm-hmm.
But again, since a lot of these teams are playing each other, will it maybe be 4? Like an 11-1 A&M team, for instance, is absolutely getting in.
Yes.
You know what the weird part is? There's a world where A&M goes 11-1 and doesn't play in the SEC championship game. There's that world. I hope we don't have to see that world.
I hope we don't have to see that world.
But there's that world. I hope we see a 12-0 team make it 13-0.
Yes.
But I'm just saying that there is a world that happens.
Yep.
All right, let's talk to JD PicKell on the other side from On3. He's a good friend of the show. We'll chit-chat with him on the other side. Right now, if you are like Richard Zane and you're up till 4 a.m. watching the Los Angeles Dodgers, or you go to Northgate and you party, or you're like Olin doing 3 workouts a day, you probably need some vitamins and minerals that you're not getting. And that's why I want you to think about Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. They're Aggie owned and operated, and they're a mobile IV hydration company. It's been around this area for a couple of years now, and they serve this entire area with great services like IV hydration, Botox, and weight loss options. So if you're looking for a quick boost of hydration or a dehydration preventative, they can tailor an IV cocktail specific to your needs. So on a busy weekend, you're going all around town, you're doing this and that, you're going to a music festival, you're outdoors, it's hot, it's too cold, whatever it may be, you need to make sure you get all those necessary vitamins and minerals. They want to bring that personalized approach to this area, and they are doing it on the phone right now. They'll book your appointments. Don't miss out on an opportunity. You can text them or you can call them. 979-217-1561. That is 979-217-1561. Tell Danny and Sheldon that I sent you by. It's Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. We're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's keep the sports talk going. 8-0 is a good time to be chit-chatting about some Aggie sports and beyond. We go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. JD PicKell joining us from On3. What's up, JD?
Hey, this is awesome, man. This is awesome. I was talking to Nick before we got on here, and he's like, man, when you're 8-0, life is good. Water pressure in the shower is good. Coffee's a bit hotter.
Yeah.
Weights look a little bit lighter for someone like yourself. I see the biceps popping out, man. I appreciate you having me on here.
Hey, JD, you know what's interesting about this whole season? And I've been saying it for weeks. And every week I say it. I know I'm repeating myself, but it becomes even more important. This season feels different than last year. So it's not that different, like from a records perspective. Like, yes, you've gone and won these big, massive road games for sure. Like, and that adds to the mystique. But from what was possible last year, I didn't really believe it, right? They were 7-1. Le'Veon was hurt. Well, he got hurt, at that South Carolina game. And you're thinking to yourself, this team finds ways to win games, but I just don't know. Maybe the same way Texas fans feel about their team, right? They're mathematically in it, but nobody really believes it, right? This year, I believe this team can not only get to the SEC championship game, I believe they can win it. They can go to the playoffs, and I think they can be one of the 4 best teams, if not the best team in the country. That's how it feels today. Does it feel that real to you?
I think you just hit the nail on the head, man. I think that's exactly it. And I think what we've talked about a couple different times, you and I on this show, is just the ways in which they've done it. There's not a style of game that you're watching and waiting for and holding your breath and say, well, I don't know if someone pushes us into a shootout. I don't know if Marcel Reed and co has the juice to go. Like, no, we've seen that. Well, hey, if Marcel Reed doesn't have his best day and the gears aren't turning, it's like, no, we've seen them win a game like that too against Auburn. And so there's that part of it. There's also, to me, like the psychological part of it. Going back to last year, I said this in the preseason, with all the returning production they have back, that was a part of what happened last year, where what you just said, they're staring down the barrel of a chance to go to Atlanta, go to the college football playoff, control their own destiny. And then South Carolina happens, Auburn happens, and just it kind of shakes how it shakes. Texas game happens, I guess, was the final nail in the coffin. Having had that already happen to you before, having been in this position, swung and missed, I think that changes a team's competitive disposition, and to know what you're walking into, to feel the pressure of playoff stakes walking into November, I think that is invaluable, and that's a big reason why I think they're playing the way they're playing.
Let's say you're a college football fan, but you don't follow it that much. You follow enough to watch the games on Saturday night that are the national games, and you're watching that game. What did that game do for the A&M brand? What did it do for Coach Elko's brand? Because I feel like we've seen A&M stink it up on these national broadcasts before, and now it felt like Saturday was a celebration of what A&M should be and is trending towards becoming.
I think a lot of what you just said when it comes to the context around A&M, with how you track them. If you're a casual fan, you're still waiting for the other shoe to drop and saying, well, but it's Texas A&M. Well, but Texas A&M, wait till November, wait till they get down the stretch. I'm sure they'll blow it. If you're a casual fan that's been watching since September and you've seen what they've done against Notre Dame, all the games we spoke to before, I think you're slowly but surely starting to buy in and say what we just said a second ago. Okay, this team feels different. And the biggest differentiating factor to me for this team from what they were a year ago, outside of what we just talked about with the psychology and the weaponry, like Marcel Reed is just a different dude. He changes the entire complexion of what A&M is capable of doing. And so if I'm a casual fan, I'm watching number 10 and I'm like, was he on the team a year ago? Like, did they get him through? When did they get a Heisman caliber quarterback? Because like Johnny Manziel graduated a long time ago. Who is that dude? And so I think seeing him and what he's capable of, it's the stuff in structure he does. It's the out of structure stuff. Like, as long as number 10 is touching the football every play, I feel like we have a chance about A&M. And I think casual fans seeing him understand that's a different dude back there pulling the trigger.
I'm not disagreeing with you about Marcel, by the way, but I'm just going to provide a little bit of my thinking behind it. I think Marcel was Marcel's definitely a better version this year than he was last year. There's no doubt. And he's got some better playmakers around him to help. But to me, Marcel's legend, I may have told you this in Atlanta, but the legend of Marcel took a step back because of the last year's defense. Because Marcel did put them in positions to win so many games in the last minute. I'm just going to give you 2 quick examples. The Auburn game and also the USC game. Okay, so I say that to you, it was the defense the last couple of minutes of those games that let them down. And if you add 2 more wins to Marcel's resume, you're talking about a 10-win Texas A&M team last year, including the bowl game. And we're feeling completely different about him entering this season. This year, though, he's better. He's got playmakers that give you the big play. They don't have to only rely on Le'Veon Moss. And oh, by the way, the defense has had moments where it has struggled, but for the most part, when you lead the nation in sacks and you can get 7 against LSU and you continue to stop the run in the second half of games and outrun rush teams consistently because of the way you stop the run and the way you're able to get the run going, to me, it's like all these other things is allowing us to put this spotlight on Marcel. Does that kind of jive with your thinking?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Like, David, I was bought in on him a year ago when he found out at breakfast he was starting against Florida, walks into the swamp, and then just doesn't flinch. Like, I think the competitive wiring for him has always been up there with what impresses me about him, along with all the physical giftings and all those things. And so it's that coupled with another year in the system under Colin Klein. And we talked about it in Atlanta as well. The way that Colin Klein puts him in position to maximize his strengths. I think one is time spent together watching tape and in practice and all those things. Also, I think it's just the unquantifiable of the fact that Colin Klein kind of plays the position the way that Marcel Reed plays the position. Like mobile quarterback, design quarterback, run game stuff, understands what's going to get him in rhythm, understands what he likes, what he doesn't like. And it's one thing to sit in a room and talk about that during the week and, chalk it up. It's a completely different thing to be able to sit with somebody and say, no, I've seen what you're seeing on the field. I know what that's like to feel that pressure when the guy comes off the edge and you can get out the back door. I understand what it feels like to say, hey, maybe I got to keep my eyes downfield here, even though I know I can get to the corner. I think that relationship in itself and the progress of that is another factor that's elevated Marcel Reed. So what you're just saying, I was always bought in on the guy, but this year what he's done has been nothing short of phenomenal. He deserves all the accolades he's going to get here in the postseason.
JD, I want to talk a little bit about Cassius Howell, who Billy was the first one this summer to be like, dude, he's looking like a real menace. And we saw how good he was at rushing the passer at the end of last year. This is just a different level. Like he might end up being a first-round pick after the way this season's gone.
I just loved him talking his cash to the LSU offensive line. Like, doesn't it feel a little bit like, I don't think A&M's ever lacked confidence or bravado, but when you're out there in Death Valley at night, and that's a spot in the first half where A&M was kind of touch and go at times, you end up trailing at halftime, even though it felt like A&M controlled that game. But Cassius Howell is just barking at the LSU offensive line like, nah, we're coming. Like, you better buckle up for 4 quarters, buddy, because I'm going to be here all night long. That edge from my defensive line, that's something that I think all great teams have. And so to see your best defensive lineman embodying that and bringing that juice and bringing that edge, it's unquantifiable. It doesn't show up in the box score. But I think the best teams in college football have a guy like that sets the tone. And that's another just change agent to me of what A&M is this year, man. So Cassius Howell, what you just said, he's been awesome, and he's going to continue to be awesome here down the stretch.
JD, do you think Brian Kelly coaches again?
Gosh, if someone paid me $53 million, it might take a second for me to get up off the couch and do something else. I think it really is all about fit for him. I think it's all about, does the right job pop up that is enticing enough and scratches the itch enough for him, or maybe forces him to have the itch enough to go and coach again. So my answer right there, I think my gut says probably not right away. I could see him taking a year. I could see him taking 2 years. I'll say this: if he comes back, I don't think it's in the SEC. I could see him in the Big Ten. I could see him in the ACC. I think he has been there, done that, tried that, didn't work. I think the SEC is off the table for Brian Kelly going forward.
Which do you think, like when they talk about the best jobs, right? They say the LSU job is the best job, or Florida or Penn State. Don't you think, and especially the best job now really kind of depends on, A, what you want as a coach, right? Like, I want to live by the water. I want to be at a place that NIL is the most important thing. Like, we kind of almost have to redefine what the best job is today, right?
I mean, I said it in our show yesterday. I think logo has never mattered less in college football. Like, before, it was just what you said. I'll have that Florida job. I want to wear that Florida quarter zip walking into a high school and people know that, hey, this guy's recruiting for the Gators. Like, that used to have a little bit more juice, and it still matters, but I don't think it's mattered nearly as much in the context of modern college football. I think Indiana's testament to that. I think Vanderbilt's testament to that. Texas Tech a testament to that. And so with that being the table setter for this discussion, it really does come down to what you just said. Do you have the resources to go put together the football team you want to put together? And then are you going to be supported and embraced for what you're doing as a head coach, which is a big reason why if I'm Lane Kiffin, I'm at Ole Miss, I'm already in the SEC, and I'm not trying to jump ahead to maybe a discussion we were going to have. I don't know why I'd leave Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Like we might have a chance to go play for the SEC title in Atlanta. Do I really want to hit the reset button for a logo at Florida or for a logo at LSU? Great logos. I'm not saying they might not be better resourced in some respect, but if I'm Lane Kiffin, I have all the leverage right now to say, no. I'll stay here, but you give me what I need every single year. We're not doing window years anymore because we got this thing rolling. I've proven you give me what I need. We can win at the highest level.
I'm glad you said that because I kind of alluded to it in the last segment or a couple segments ago. I don't believe that they're going to go to the playoffs. I don't see a world where Ole Miss is not a playoff team this year, and potentially they're in Atlanta, right? Like with what's left in their schedule, they should be in the playoffs. Even if they lose to Mississippi State in a rivalry game, they should still be in the playoffs. And I'm like, why would you open up the door for the chatter around your program as you're heading? Because if you get invited to the dance, you can win the national championship. You're one of the 12 teams that has a chance, legitimately, maybe 8 teams that have a chance or 10 teams that have a chance. Like, why would you cause that disruption when you are already doing? And how many games does he win a year? He's winning 10 games a year at Ole Miss. Take away the quarterback, it doesn't matter. They still find a way.
Last year was supposed to be the year with a first-round quarterback and a first-round defensive lineman, and it falls apart sort of inexplicably. But you go get a guy from the Division II level who none of us were talking about at SEC Media Days, and he looks like one of the best quarterbacks in the country, like a top 3 Heisman guy up there with Marcel Reed for my money. And so what you just said is perfect. The ceiling cannot be higher than what it is at Ole Miss anywhere else. Andy Staples made a great point in his article over at on3.com. He said the ceiling can be identical as it is at Ole Miss, out of Florida, or at an LSU. The ceiling cannot possibly be higher than winning a national championship. And if this is the year where you're going to go compete for a national championship by nature of making the playoff, I don't know why you would go somewhere else and hit the reset button and jeopardize everything else that you have going right now when it comes to longevity. I think did you see the Lane Kiffin doc at all, David?
No, I haven't seen it yet. I haven't.
It's good stuff, but he speaks to when he was younger, wanting to be the youngest head coach to do X, Y, and Z thing, wanting a statue in front of the stadium, and sort of spoke to how he's cooled off on some of those ambitions and is more present. But if he does want a statue in front of a stadium, he's trending in a tremendous fashion to do that in Oxford right now with what he's got Ole Miss doing.
Hey, we got about 30 seconds left. I do want to read this text from Madden in Houston. It says, Kiffin's got the same winning percentage against top 25 teams as Mark Stoops. He's good against bad teams. I think in today's world, if you get invited to the playoffs, that's all that matters. And that's if 70% of your schedule you're better than, take advantage of it.
Hey, you win games. I don't care what the number is next to you. You're in that dance. You don't apologize for it.
JD, great stuff, man. We'll talk to you soon, brother.
Appreciate you, David. Have a good. Hey, send me the arm workout here.
I got you. Hey, you're the one who played college football. I didn't. So you win. Later, buddy.
Appreciate you.
JD PicKell on the Buppy's Catering Bartending Hotline from On3. Good stuff. All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back. Easy segment on the other side. Right now, Heritage Films. Heritage Films is preserving family stories that would be otherwise lost. If you, there's no if. You do have a story. Your family has a story. McKinley's family has a story. My family has a story. We all have these stories that could be lost if you don't preserve them. And I don't know if you guys are keeping journals at home or doing Facebook memories and like, look, kids, look the street I grew up on when I was a kid. Let Chance McClain and his team tell your family story, your family business story, your family ranch story, your dad's story, and have it preserved for the next generation and the generation after that in a 2-hour style documentary film that feels very similar to Netflix or watching any of those other services that have these awesome documentaries. I love watching documentaries, and Chance McClain is a wizard at making these, a great storyteller. I think you will be so pleasantly surprised. Aggies care about our history. Imagine like having Chance's team with you as the A&M LSU game's going on. He's kind of recording a watch party with your family and your love for A&M sports. I'm just giving you an example of the things he does, but he does so many other things. Call him up, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341, or go to yourheritagefilm.com. That is yourheritagefilm.com.
All right, guys, let's talk about some new partners, Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. They're Aggie owned and operated. They are an mobile IV hydration company that was founded back in 2024. I met with Sheldon and Danny over the last week, and they're awesome people. They really know what they're doing. They're proud to serve Bryan College Station with awesome services like IV hydration, Botox, and even some weight loss options. Whether you're looking for a quick boost of hydration or dehydration preventative, they can tailor an IV cocktail specific to your needs. And on a busy week, and I know some of you guys might be partying a little bit too much. If that's the case, an IV can be one of the easiest ways to ensure you're receiving all those necessary vitamins and minerals to make you feel better. Their overall mission is to bring a more personalized and accessible wellness option to the broader range of clientele here in the Bryan College Station and Brazos Valley area. To book an appointment or inquire about it, just call them up or text them. 979-217-1561. Again, it's Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. Check them out. It's our friends at Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. All right, we're back here on TexAgs Live. Nick, did you see these comments from Lane Kiffin about A&M? Kind of indirectly about A&M, directly about A&M.
I did not. What did he say?
So Fox College Football's, I guess it was from his press conference yesterday. It's about the recent college football coaching firings, and it says, I'm sure Texas A&M is sitting there right now going, okay, well, yeah, that was ridiculous to pay, but I feel pretty good about that right now. So anytime something works, other people go, well, let's go do that. And getting the right coach, especially in college football, maybe more than any other sport, is the reason programs and teams win, right? So A&M's like, look, we don't want to spend $72 million, whatever it was, $74 million, but we think this other guy is going to get us to win at the highest level here in the next 12 to 24 months, and it's worked. It's way more expensive to do the Brian Kelly and Ed O approach to keep getting the wrong guy. So getting the right, and again, by the way, it's a crapshoot. You don't know it's going to work, but when you feel good about somebody, you pull the trigger.
That was halfway complimentary of Lane, too. Like, that's surprising. Normally, it's always, backhanded or sarcastic with what he has to say.
You know why? Because he respects Elko. He didn't respect Jimbo.
True.
All right, we'll hit a break. When we come back, Jordan Pugh. We'll keep it real here on TexAgs. And after that, even Luke Evangelist and Brian Kortan. I'm looking forward to that one, but even Luke Evangelist.
We are back on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's keep it real. We go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Jordan Pugh joining us to talk all things Texas A&M football. What's up, Jordan? How you doing, man? Oh, I don't hear you. Oh, fail. 1 second. He's going to try to reset that. McKinley, what do you think I was going to ask Jordan? You have to pretend like you know what I'm going to ask him. What do you think?
Something about Aggie football.
Something in particular about Aggie football.
How he feels.
All right, Jordan, she thinks I'm going to ask you something about Aggie football. I was actually going to ask you if you watched the latest documentary on the Lifetime Network. No, I want to know. All right, you texted me during the game, and we had a little back and forth. I think we were both on the same page. We were kind of ticked off at halftime because we're destroying this team, yet we're losing, right? But I still didn't think they were going to lose. What was kind of your emotions from that point on?
Same thing, self-inflicted wounds, right? Not as many penalties this game, but the penalty factor, but the 2 turnovers, right? At the inopportune times. That was the part that kind of just, like we had a chance to end it. We should have been up, I want to say 21-9 maybe, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say it's around 21-9. We should have been up at halftime. But when you look at, going into halftime, you saw the momentum kind of swing again. It's kind of similar to that Arkansas game, right? But man, the way that we came out in the second half, the way we blitzed them in the second half, that was impressive. It's the most impressed I've been in a long time watching us as a football team, because that was a complete team effort from every single phase, offense, defense, special teams. And I think the Craver punt return is what really put that nail in the coffin. It stole all hope away from LSU. But yeah, man, the emotions were kind of high in that first half because you saw what we were doing. You knew that we had the game in control, but then we just kind of let it slip away. But being able to regroup at halftime, come out in that second half, and I mean, just literally just blitz them from jump. That was huge, man. So, it's exciting to see. I'm getting excited. Real excited about the team because, man, everything that we want, everything that we have talked about over the years about how everything is built. We have all the resources. We have the players. It's about just getting the right guy who can steer it in the right direction. This is exciting to see.
Expectations evolve as season plays out, right? So there was a time I was like, all right, they just got to get to 10 wins, right? Like, all right, if you win at LSU, then, you just got to win your home games and you're a 10-win team and a playoff team. That's not how I talk, but that's just, me mimicking a person that would think that way. Yep. But now, that ain't enough. If I'm sitting here at 8-0 in a bye week, and look, of course, if you're 10-2 in the playoffs, we're going to be very happy, right? But I'm saying in the moment, I'm like, why not take it all? Give it all to me. Where are you as an analyst / former player about that?
That's what we're playing for. Mm-hmm. That's been the expectation the entire time. I've been saying it year in and year out. Why can't we have that? Why don't we think that way? Because we have everything that's necessary. At the end of the day, it's about finishing the job. All right, so look, 8 wins on the year, undefeated. We've had our moments. We know what to clean up. We know our weaknesses, but we always overcome them. At this point, so far in the season, we have overcome every single adverse situation that we've been in. But we're right on the cusp. We're right on the brink. The biggest thing now as a coaching staff is, okay, it's not that how can we handle success, it's that can we push forward and break through that last bit, that last wall? And that's the one thing that Elko's trying to get through to the players is break through now. Now it's your time. It's your opportunity. And just, man, looking at everything that we've done, we are a well-rounded football team winning in every facet of the game. We're playing complementary football with each other as a team. We're winning on special teams. We are playing well, and we are a well-oiled unit. Now it's about the breakthrough. It's about, yes, we can do this, the belief factor. And I think that's what's different in this team. You've had the success, but the way that we're winning is building belief. Belief is 99% of the equation. And if you can do that, man, and continue to stay consistent, because you're going to have your ebbs and flows. We play in the SEC. Every team is capable of beating you. But if we can continue to stay consistent, man, everything's in front of us that we want to accomplish. But the first thing we got to do, we got to win the bye week. Then we got to win against Missouri. That's the next thing. Those are the next 2 steps. Forget everything else. Focus on those 2 things right now.
Talk to me about Coach Elko and just like you being a defensive-minded guy, like wanting to play for a guy like him who he's no nonsense. He can be funny.
He also doesn't play around with bad questions and he's not about the past life. He's about the future life.
Yeah, about business. I told you, defense is about chaos, organized chaos. And you see that every single week with him. But here's the deal. The biggest thing with him is he has a plan, and he is stuck to that plan. And he has got the people around him in order to help facilitate that plan. And I think that's what's been the recipe of success. So you saw it take place in year one, how he was laying the foundation. Now you're seeing the plan move forward, how he's acquired players, how he's been strategic within the portal, the type of coaching staff that he's brought together. But then you see the game plan each and every week. And it's starting to come to fruition. But most importantly, you're seeing the team get better every single week, from week 1 all the way to week 8 for us. We have improved in every facet, from the offensive side to the defensive side. We even improved a little bit on penalties this week, even though that's still a bugaboo for us, right? But you're seeing the improvement, and that's the thing that is dangerous. When you're playing a team that hasn't peaked yet, when you're playing a team that continues to improve week in and week out, that's when, if you're an opposing unit, you're like, man, I don't know. We got to be on our P's and Q's. And that's what you're seeing with Elko, man. He's very tight-lipped, very structured. But most importantly, he sticks to the plan, and he makes you stick to the standard. That's what's important. And you're seeing that take place in the players on the team.
All right. I can be cheesy on this show and in real life.
Yeah, we do know that. Yeah.
Thanks for agreeing.
We still love you, though. We still love you.
You were supposed to say, no, man, you're the hippest guy I know.
Hey, man, I got to be able to speak truths, man. I can't do that.
you do keep it real. So we know what BAS stands for, right? BAS stands for Battered Aggie Syndrome. Why not believe and succeed, Jordan? Why don't we rebrand it? Because the thing's different. Believe Aggie, succeed. Believe it. I don't know. I'm just saying, we're in a new era, and excuse the bad joke with it, but that's where we want to get to, and we're getting closer to believing.
There was a movie I watched this weekend, so I need to preface my statement, okay? I have 2 daughters, okay? I have an 8 and a 7-year-old.
I know where this is going.
There's a movie that I watched. Well, actually, 2 movies that come to mind now. The Princess Diaries, okay? And Miss Congeniality. Okay, why did I bring those 2 up? Because they were always beautiful girls and beautiful women. But then when they found out how beautiful they were, all of a sudden their mindset changed. And that's what we are now at A&M. We are the pretty girl now. Now, we've always had what we needed. We've always had the resource. We've had the fan base. We've had the players. But now we're starting to see the other side of success, because that's the work, the standard, everything that we talked about with Elko that he's put in. Now it's one thing to garner the attention. It's one thing to accept who you are. And I think now what Elko was trying to instill in the players is accepting who we are now. We are the elite. We are one of the top teams in the nation. Act like it and continue to play like it. That's the hard part now. So, man, it's been good. We've been riding high. I always hate bye weeks after a big win. That bothers me as a coach. I want to keep the momentum going. But now, man, acting like we belong, understanding that we belong, but believing that we belong. That is going to be the one thing that I can almost guarantee that he's going to hone in with the messaging in these next 2 weeks, this week with the bye week, and then coming up with the following game. You got to understand who you are. You got to accept who you are, and then you got to act accordingly. That is the next step for us, and that's part of that breakthrough that we're talking about.
This is why I love you. You are the only guy in the world that knows how to mix and miscongeniate, whatever the word is, miscongeniate. I can't say the word. You know what I'm saying? You're that movie and the Princess Diaries.
Congeniality. There you go.
Congeniality. Yeah. Yes. I say it with a Spanish accent. It comes out easier. And use it in a football, you painted that picture so perfectly. You're exactly right. And who would have thought? Were you actually thinking that during the movie?
Well, no, it just kind of came to me right now. Look, man, I got 2 girls, and you know how it is being a girl dad. You always have to constantly play the mental game, right? But that's part of coaching. One of the things that I do with the guys that I coach in my program is, man, understanding that you have the greatness in you, but the hardest part is getting them to believe that. Once you believe it, you act accordingly. But man, when you talk about the Battered Aggie Syndrome, it's hope, and the hope gets killed at some point in time in the season. And and the fans are at the brink where they're like, man, I want to believe so bad. We're so close, but they don't want to get their heart broken again. It's the same thing like the pretty girl, man, that the boy has left them, this, that, and the other. But, man, once you realize your superpower, once you realize the greatness that you have, man, you act different. You move different. You prepare different. You play different. There's a different intensity to that. And that's what I think the difference is with Elko being at the helm. I think that he understands that. He's had to fight his way up through the coaching ranks. He's built up different programs, built up different defenses. Now he's putting together for a full staff, full program. And so, man, if we understand who we are as players, I think that we will continue this push, but we have to take it week by week.
Talking to Jordan Pugh here on TexAgs Live. Jordan, it feels really good also to be the program that goes into your house and gets your coach fired. Brian Kelly got fired.
I was gonna say that. You read my mind, man.
Well,
I was gonna text you that, but I was like, I held off. But I was like, it does feel good, doesn't it? See, this is the part where the fans need to enjoy it, right? Enjoy the fact that we went in there, beat somebody's butt, and then their coach got let go instead of us, right? We're on the reverse side of this. What you're saying, man, everybody keeps talking about culture, and culture is one of those words where I don't really know what that is, right? I just think that there's standards, and I think that we're finally living up to the standard. And when you do that, man, you have results like that. You have results where you go into somebody else's house, you take over the stadium like our fan base did, and then you get another guy booted. Now, you don't wish for anybody's job to end, of course, but at the end of the day, this is a competition. It's me versus you. And I think taking on that mentality as a program, man, you saw, I think that meme that's going around with Cassius House talking noise to the lineman. See, I'm a defensive player. I love that. That's the dog, right? But when you see that, man, it's different. There's a different feel to this team. I texted you that this coming out of that second half, this is what a championship contender looks like. This is what they look like. They put their foot on their throat and they choke people out. And if we can continue to do that week in and week out, and understanding that each and every week is its own season. It's its own season. We have 4 seasons left. All right. If we can continue to push forward, man, we can accomplish everything that we set out at the beginning of the season.
It's such a unique position to be in. When you see, okay, so talk about that fine line, all right? The Cassius, I want my defensive linemen to, like be chewing at the bone, right? And I love that.
Yep.
But the fine line of playing with that kind of emotion, and then also like the Des Ricks penalty that, was just such a boneheaded play. And by the way, I know that people are kind of like, hey, they keep throwing at Des. I think for the most part, you tell me what you think. I think his coverage has been pretty good. Guys are making great catches, but they are throwing to him a lot.
Yeah, Dez has been the best corner that we've had all year long, the most consistent guy, right? When you talk about walking that line, I told you, man, defense is about chaos. It's organized chaos, right? And you want to be able to create that. The thing that I love what Cassius Howell did, you saw a guy that looked ferocious, right? Just like he's ready to tear your head off. That's what you want defensively, because I guarantee you, man, that lineman, I don't know what his name is, went back and you started messing with his mentality, his mental. And I told you, offense is about chemistry. It's about flow. And you are messing with the flow. And that starts breaking down from a mental game to the physical game. But, man, walking that fine line, I would rather have defensive players that I have to say whoa to versus go. Okay. And if I have those type of players, I'm going to win a lot more games than I lose, because I told you defense is about want to. I want to whoop your butt. I want to beat you to a pulp. I want to knock the living life out of you on defense, but it's controlled chaos. And I think that's what you're seeing, man. You're seeing everybody play balance. You're seeing everybody play together. You're seeing guys communicate on defense. You're seeing our linebackers come in and play well. Defensive line is creating chaos. Our DBs are stepping up and making plays. We're playing together. But the coach side of me, I hate the bye week right now. I hate it. I have to get my guys refocused. Everybody's going to love on them. We made a statement. We made ourselves known to the nation. Regroup and get everybody back centered. Now, this is where the coaching part comes in, and this is where I have the belief in Elko now, because I've seen the consistency from year 1 to year 2, and I think we'll be fine moving forward.
Well, I also think, too, this team hasn't done anything yet, right? And I know Coach Elko is going to remind them of that, because they were in a similar position, although not as unblemished, right? They're unblemished. They're 8-0. They were 7-1 last year at this point. So, they haven't done anything yet. And honestly, hopefully, they're just pretty much midway through their season. Hopefully, they're playing 15 games, right?
Yeah. And the biggest thing with that too is I think the thing that nobody's really talking about on a national scale is the depth. I think one of the best things that's happened with guys going down early in the season, it's allowed the depth to play significant amounts. And I think if you're looking at last year to this year, when we had guys go down, especially the most notable was Le'Veon Moss, you saw kind of a fall off. Now with the guys going down earlier in the year, we've seen it from the defensive side now to the offensive side. There has been no drop off. And that's where the coaching element, that's where the player acquisition element, that's where that standard or that culture, for lack of a better word, comes in. And this is where I think you're going to see it really shine. Because what do they always say? You remember November, right? Now's the time. And you know, every single player wants that moment. They want that opportunity to play on the big stage. That's why I came to A&M. I came to A&M. I got the offers from Texas, the Oklahomas. I didn't want that. I wanted to be the one that helped resurrect and build something, right? This is their opportunity to do that and go down as one of those special teams. So I think, man, building that bond, understanding what the task is, that's going to bring you closer together as a unit. But also when you have players that have played significant time that weren't the starters, it's also a different bond as well, because I know that I have contributed to this. It's a different mentality and mindset when it comes to that. So I think that's been a blessing in disguise for us with guys going down early, because it's allowed everybody to buy in, because you know that you had a vital role in building this and continuing to build out what we're doing as a team.
Jordan, at this pace, I feel like Marcel will be invited to New York. Now, you know,
He better at this pace.
But do you feel that too?
I feel like we have been the most. I want to be careful when I say this. I feel like we've been the most disrespected number 3 team in the nation. Okay, you got an 8-0 football team. You got Marcel that has improved every single week. You have a defense that has improved every single week. Of course, we still have gaps. So we still have things that we got to fine tune. But man, the way that we are going out and we are dominating people at the end, the way that we are finding ways to win at every phase of the game. And then when you look at what Marcel's doing from a leadership standpoint, how he's making plays, creating plays, why are we not being talked about more? Now, the coach and player side of me likes that. I like the fact that nobody's talking about us, because it keeps everything steady. It keeps a singular focus. But if Marcel continues to move how he's doing, how he's playing, continues to propel us offensively, like I said earlier, we go as far as he goes, he better be in the Heisman race. There's no reason why. You're in the best conference. You're the undefeated team in the conference. You're on a trajectory to Atlanta. Yes, he should be there without a shadow of a doubt.
Who do you think has the best resume in college football right now? What team?
I think between us and Bama. Okay. I think Bama's
not Indiana?
No. Outside of Oregon, they haven't really played any threat yet, right? Now they look good. You're supposed to beat teams the way they are, and the way that they're beating teams, they're obliterating teams. Yeah, but as far as resume, the gauntlet that we've had to go through, the gauntlet that Alabama's had to go through, I think those are the top 2 resumes. If you had us 1 and 2, okay, I understand that. Let's say we fast forward this thing and we meet Alabama in the SEC championship. That's a scary matchup, because that's a team that's clicking. That's a team that had their wake-up call week 1, and they've been rolling ever since. But as far as that, I think we're the 2 best. I can make an argument for us at number 1, but I wouldn't be upset if they had Alabama at that spot just based off the resume.
And what about Ohio State?
No, I think they should be top 4, number 4. They haven't had that challenge yet. It hasn't come up yet. Now, I think that they're a legit team. I understand why they're number 1, and they have every reason to put them there. But I've yet to see them challenged. I've yet to see them face the adversity. It's coming at some point. Every team is going to face that at some point in the season. I don't know what they're going to do yet. And then Julian's saying, he's been playing well, but I don't know what he looks like when the bullets are in his face. That's going to be a true test. I'm interested to see how that plays out.
Jordan, I appreciate you, sir. Thanks very much.
All right, man. Let's do it.
Talk to you next week. Jordan Pugh on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. We'll hit a break. We'll talk a little Brian Kortan on the other side. They've had a great fall. We'll chit-chat with him. Right now, a moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell, online at caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. All right, so when you are looking for a new vehicle, it is a stressful process because, God, I got to spend, like, cars now cost this, and, I don't have time to go there. I got a football season to worry about. My weekends are about tailgating and Aggie football. Start your search online at caldwellcountrychevrolet.com and make it super simple. I'll dumb it down for you. Great pricing, great trade-in value for your vehicle, and great customer service. There you go. You already got it. So whatever car you're looking for, let them find it for you because you're going to be blown away by the entire process when you shop at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. They're locally owned. They got an Aggie alumni team, and they're going to roll out that red carpet for you. And remember, it's not a far drive. We're talking 15 minutes, the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. A short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell. Online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. I wish I had Olin here for it because he loves energy drinks. Catalyst Citrus Spark. This is one of the new flavors out there. Whether you're grinding through workouts, cramming for a test, or closing in on a deal or getting ready for TexAgs Live, you never know, right? Fast becoming the go-to fuel for Aggies everywhere. Zero sugar. I'm all in for that. Or synthetic sweeteners, no artificial colors or flavors. Catalyst delivers clean, high-performance energy with smooth, crisp taste that is never syrupy, designed for both health and hustle. You want to get going? You use this Catalyst right here. It's about pure energy and pure results. And what sets them apart? Packed with premium nootropics blended to boost focus, clarity, and mental stamina. I need this. I'm in, guys. I'm in. Plus, with plant-based caffeine, vitamin B12, B6, Catalyst supports metabolism and energy production, making it more than a drink. It's your lifestyle training partner. Built for competitors on the field, Catalyst fuels strength, focus, and pure results. Buy now at drinkcatalyst.com. That is drinkcatalyst.com. Train harder, think sharper, pure results. It's Catalyst.
All right, we're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. The swag man, Brian Kortan, A&M men's golf coach, is here to talk about a very fun fall, which just recently an impressive victory at Steelwood. How are you, sir?
I'm great.
I'll brag on air. He's got the best swag. I told him 4 times. He always has the best gear. How would you talk about your fall? Ups, downs, left, right? It was pretty good overall?
We knew going in it was going to be a fall of growth, and we had some big guys to replace, and that was we've got good players in the program, but if you move up chairs, it's taken on a little bit more. It's not just responsibility, but it's performance and responsibility to that performance. So fortunate to have some really good guys. I think they got their footing there the second probably half of the fall, where they really played more sound and really performed at their level. Obviously, like Aaron Pounds did a great job. He won the first tournament out of the gates, and then had a really sound fall. And Wheaton probably was two rounds probably away from having a really good fall as well. So those guys kind of stepped up chairs a little bit, and we've added some faces. But yeah, we knew this was a different deal. We lose P, and you lose Michael Heidelbaugh, and those guys were big for us last year. So a good fall to kind of get our feet back underneath us and kind of see where we got to go.
As a coach, it's probably a couple different emotions, right? Like, you love those guys. You wonder how we're going to fill those shoes. But the coaching part of it, the development part, you probably love and can't wait for it.
I don't know if you ever excited when you lose a guy that's like a top 5 player in the country.
You know what I mean, though?
Yeah,
there's a process.
1,000%. No, Fast and I are. He's the golf nerd, and I'm kind of a little bit more old school. But we really enjoy being a part of the build and helping these guys kind of reach the level that they can. We're really, that's a big part of who we are, and we embrace that part, and we recruit to it. So we're going to be the guys that are there. We're going to be the guys that are really trying to help you get better each and every day. And so far, we've gained some traction in that mentality, and our guys have really accepted it. So
Steelwood, pretty successful. Let's talk a little bit about, I think you said afterwards, I was reading one of the releases, that you're not a finished product. Obviously, you got some areas to grow, but that was a good way to finish the fall and also start working towards some new goals.
Yeah, it was nice to show that the groundwork that you're laying this fall is taking hold. So that was good to see. It was, it looked on paper it was a 2-shot victory because we got rained out the last day, but we were 12 holes through the 3rd round, and we had opened up a 10-shot lead. So we went back out, and the guys just put boot to tail, and really were doing great. And we'd kind of, taken control of that golf tournament, which was awesome to see. I wish we could have finished it off, because I think Aaron and Wheaton both would have had a chance to win, not only individually, but we would have, had a really good chance to win that as a team. So that was kind of cool to see. But just growing and seeing that foundation kind of get more stable, so that we can, pound on it this fall or this spring.
Talk about, people moving up chairs. From a culture perspective, you have to lean on those guys that have moved up to kind of help set that tone beyond what the coaches set, correct?
Yeah, Fast and I are there every day. Golf's different than virtually every other sport. Like, when we have a day together, a lot of times it's 12 hours. So I am certain they get tired of me. and I understand that, but the relationship piece is huge, and we have to put some stuff on our players to maintain the culture that we want to maintain. Because they don't get to hit 3 or 4 different coaches during the day at their different whatever. Just their growth process through a day. It's golf, and then it's school. Whereas if you're playing another sport, you might work out, then you've got somebody that does this, somebody that does this. It's just, you work out, and then you come see Fast and I, and we figure it out from there. So a little different in terms of how you build something, but man, overall, it's fun to see it come together.
Let's kind of go through some of the individuals. You already talked a little bit about Aaron, but his growth this fall.
Yeah, he's been on a steady growth, since he got here. His freshman year, he would tell you he was, a little disheveled and didn't quite get where he wanted to go that his freshman year. But really, the spring last year really started to show what he was capable of, and then turned around this fall and started just playing really solid golf. Wins the first tournament right out of the gates, and has had I think 4 really high-end finishes, and then kind of one that, was 1 round away from being a really good finish. So it's fantastic to see. Just a wonderful Aggie, wonderful young man, legacy Aggies, family's Aggies. So it's really cool to see him be successful here.
And Wheaton.
Yeah, Wheaton's, that guy works. He had a really nice fall as well. Obviously those guys step up chairs and we rely on those guys to be really good at what they're doing. So, and they've been that. Both of them have. And when they're really good, we are really good. And then they know that and they've accepted that. And that's a big part of who they are. They came here because they wanted to be the guys that led A&M, and they're doing it.
Jaime's had a fun few months, right?
Jaime's fun regardless. Yeah, he's been riding the roller coaster a lot. He does some amazing things, and he's capable of amazing things. It's just him believing that he can do that. And when he does and settles in, he's really solid for us and with an incredible upside. But I look for his spring to be his best semester of golf as an Aggie.
How's Kurt fitting in?
Who?
Kurt?
Kubas? Chris?
Yeah, Kuba. Oh, Chris, is it? Sorry.
Yeah, Kuv. Great transfer from Pepperdine. Great kid. Really, I think he's soaking a lot of it up because I think he gets more attention here and more time with his teammates here. Pepperdine's a little different. They're kind of spread out a little bit more because of where they're located. But I think he really enjoys being around the guys, and he's played some good golf for us. And then Shiv, the freshman from Selma, who he's had some really good tournaments. He's had a couple really, really high-end finishes. He just has to settle down a little bit so that those ones where he doesn't play quite well, he still can be very productive for us.
So what's the schedule like? Because February is the Seabest, and just what's in between?
We'll go play in Palm Springs in January and catch Stanford for a match just to kind of get out of the dreary, College Station weather for a couple days. Seabest end of January, then we hit Hawaii in the middle of February, and by the time we get back from there, it's almost March. So you get through January and February pretty quick. So we get right back on the horse, middle of January, kind of get going.
Watch the football game on Saturday?
Heck yeah, we watched.
Heck yeah, you did.
Yeah, we stayed at the lodge at Steelwood, and we were locked in. We had the TV reserved, and we were there, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd love to watch the football games together. It's great.
It's good. It's good for everybody, right? When the football team's doing good, and it just changes the vibe.
I think a lot of us feed off of it. I think, in a great way. I think it just gives some positivity to what we're doing, but it's pretty easy to find that throughout the sports at A&M. You've got everybody's doing awesome. It's been a really good semester for the fall athletics at A&M, and it's something we should all be very proud of.
Coach Kortan, thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Talk to you soon. Wait a break. We'll come back. We'll talk a little buckyball on the other side. Luke Evangelist got some thoughts on the scrimmage that we didn't get to yesterday because we had so much football on the agenda. We'll get into that next on TexAgs Live. Hey friends, David Nuño here for Prize Picks. They're back on TexAgs, prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to get $50 once you play in $5 lineups. And Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Football season's here, basketball coming up, baseball, you name it. You go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs and start having some fun watching sports, making some money on there. And you can play Prize Picks in over 40 states, including California and Texas. Remember, they'll give you $50 in lineups once you play $5 lineups on Prize Picks. And they have the new thing. It's called It's Good to Be Right campaign, and they're kicking off the upcoming NFL season with their bold new campaign, It's Good to Be Right. The seasonal long push celebrates the thrills of getting it right, from the perfect prediction to winning your Prize Picks lineups. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Hour number 3 of the show. Luke Evangelist is in studio to talk a little basketball. I got to ask you, this is not a shot. I know you're making the face. No, but Big Time Ballos on the YouTube page. I feel he's got to be your uncle, your brother. He has propped you up on basketball so many times today. The most recent time, I think it's cool how Luke has been hyping up Clements in practice. And he goes out and drops 20, and people are like, who?
Yeah, hey, that's another reason to be a TexAgs Premium subscriber. You get to know about these guys before anyone else does. Real ones know that that's the Zach Clements I've seen in practice, but that's not the Zach Clements you see on the stat sheet at Kansas. But no, I couldn't be happier for Zach, and they're going to need guys to step up.
Yeah, he averaged 1.7 at Kansas.
Yep.
And was 5 of 6 shooting.
Yeah.
We'll take that, right?
I mean, I think I said on a podcast, like when I went on with this national guy, and he was like talking about Zach Clements. I was like, yeah, he had a day where he shot 5 of 6 from 3 in practice, and that's like not out of the norm from him. Like he can really shoot. Rylan Griffin said that not a lot of people know about Zach, but he can shoot at 6'11", and I mean, I trust the people in that building, and I trust what I see in practice, that Zach Clements will be a significant factor. And Logan Lee's the one who put me on first. Logan Lee told me, hey, I think Zach is going to have a bigger role than people expect, and then I started looking out for what Zach could do, and he was absolutely right. So Logan Lee's the one that, well, obviously Bucky's the one you should thank for having him on the team, but I can't take all the credit. Logan Lee put me on.
I saw that Bucky talked a little bit about the 95 points, I think yesterday on his show, and he's like, we started off slow. It should have been 110. Yeah. That just shows you what kind of offense they have.
Yeah, that's what I said too. I was like, they really should have had close to 110 because they didn't play well at all in the first half. They shot 36% from 3, and someone was like, that's not a negative, that's a positive. 36% would have been top 3 in the SEC last year. Well, yeah, but they're not just going to be a top 3 3-point shooting team in the SEC. They're going to be number 1. So that is like not the standard for them. What you saw in the second half where they shot 54% from 3 is a lot more what they think they should be like given how many shooters they have. And they turned the ball over 18 times. Like they easily, if you had Pop and McKenzie playing, they might have had 120, but given the circumstances of that game, like over 100 was not out of the question for them.
I don't know much about Arizona State. Are they supposed to be good?
No, so they're supposed to be like bottom third of the Big 12. They were missing their 3rd and 4th best players, so when both teams were missing 2 starters, I guess it evens out, but obviously like Pop and McKenzie are 2 guys that are A&M's 2 leading scorers, or they should be A&M's 2 leading scorers, so A&M was missing a little bit more, but A&M overall is the better team, even when healthy. So I'm trying not to put too much stock into it, but at the end of the day, they scored 95 and they could have had more. So there's a lot more to take away, I think, from the offense than the defense.
So in less than a week, we'll get to see it for reals, but you've gone to practices, you've gone to the scrimmage, you saw them play against Arizona State. We heard what Bucky Ball is in theory. What is it like to watch an A&M team play that brand of basketball?
It's exciting.
It's got to be hard for you to type as they're scoring every 5 seconds.
Yeah, no, I can't. It's impossible for me to type and do Twitter and a live thread and have as much detail as I would be able to have last year. Like if you just see me say like so-and-so hit a 3 and that's it, that's literally because they ran down and shot it within the first 5 seconds. That's just how they play. They try and get a shot as quick as possible, and then if not, they're going to run their offense. But they like to score in transition, and that means they're going to give up points in transition too because they're going to press and they're going to trap on a made or missed shot. So a lot of 3s, not a lot of long 2s. It's everything at the rim. They really just want to get to the free throw line. That is like the main focal point of the offense.
I've heard that before.
Is can we get to the free throw line?
And make them.
And make them. That is a big key. But yeah, I mean, you're just looking at highlights of Ruben Dominguez shooting. They got shooters at every position. Everyone except Federico can step out and shoot 3s. So that's going to make this team really hard to guard. And
how does he look, by the way?
He was great. I have the stat sheet right in front of me. He had 11 points, 4 rebounds, 1 steal. He was 3 for 3 from the field, 5 of 7 from the free throw line, which he's their worst free throw shooter, and he was 5 of 7. So I was pretty impressed with Fetty. He's a guy that when they're fully healthy, he's probably the 5 coming off the bench just because Rashawn Agee is a little bit more physical and he can step out and shoot 3s. But yeah, Fetty's a really nice piece. They have like a great 1-2 punch in the front court, and for the, 6 to 8 games that Mackenzie Mbaka will be out, you'll see Fetty and Rashawn starting at the 4 and the 5. So I that's the best they can do without a McDonald's All-American and NBA draft pick out on the floor. So I feel like the front court shouldn't take that big of a step back without McKenzie, at least in non-conference.
One of the things that I always gave Buzz credit for was not only the culture, the guys that he recruited, right? I mean, those guys, and we got to see multiple years of them in a world of college basketball that doesn't happen often. You got to see Wade Taylor, Henry Coleman, Andy, all kind of grow into being these like Aggie, I don't know if legend is the right word, but Aggie stars that we're going to always think about, right? Tell me about this group of guys. You've gotten to get to know them a little bit. Do you feel like the warm and fuzzies are going to happen for the fans?
Yeah, they have a lot of big personalities. We've had Marcus Hill in. You've interviewed Rashawn Agee. Like, these guys are very charismatic.
Yeah,
and it's easy to see why Bucky wanted them, not just for how they are on the floor, but how they are off it. Because one bad apple in this early stage of trying to build team culture and team chemistry could set them back a year or two. And so you have to be careful about who you bring into the locker room. And I think they've got a lot of great guys. They're starting to see like a lot of chemistry off the court. When anytime you go to practice and they stay, like the whole team stays after to just hang out and shoot and chat and joke around, I think that's a really good sign. And I mean, Fetty's always got a smile on his face. Rylan Griffin is like the ringleader of all their joking around and stuff. So they have a lot of fun personalities. But to me, I think the fan favorite that everyone's going to love is Rashawn Agee, not only for his story, but also like he's just contagious with how loud he is and how funny he is and how much trash he talks. I think the fan base is going to really rally around him. He's their captain. He's going to wear number 12. So it's clear that Bucky has placed a lot of importance on him. And I think the fan base will rally around him.
And Marcus Hill, he had 28 in the scrimmage.
Yeah, he had 28 in 20 minutes. I mean, he's been on an unreal heater, and they're going to need him to with Pop being out for a couple games to start the season. So Marcus Hill is another guy that came from NC State and was asked to do a little bit too much, but when you refine him and put him in a system like this where he has shooters around him, he's a guy whose role can really flourish.
So remind us about the injury situation.
So McKenzie's out until mid-November. They expect to have him back late November, probably by the time they play Florida State, just because it takes time to. You can't just plug him in. You got to get back to game speed and game
Bucky's
conditioning
speed too, right?
Yeah, you got to get to Bucky's conditioning level, and then with Pop, they should have him back for Oklahoma State, like the third game.
That's
on
a little
November
earlier
9th.
than we were initially hearing from both of those guys, right? I feel like I remember at one point there was talk maybe it won't be until conference play.
Yeah, well, McKenzie's it was always 8 weeks, and then Pop was to be determined because his recovery process was a little bit different in terms of maybe they're trying to ease him back into it just because it was a lower body injury, and you really can't rush that because at the end of the day, the conference schedule is way more important than non-conference play, so they don't want to rush him back, but they do kind of need him back. But they feel confident that they can win the first 2 games without him, and then they'll have him ready to go for Oklahoma State, which is their first. That should be a quad 1 game, but it's their first non-bye game, I guess, just to put it that way.
Coaches always want more time and more work, right? Like, that's just it's part of a process of building something. But how do they feel? You think, considering like this was not a normal taking over a program situation.
Yeah.
What was the returning production? 1.7%.
1.7%.
Yeah.
It's only Chris McDermott, and then if you had Josh Holloway as a returner in the system, it was like 9.3%.
Right.
So obviously they wish they could have had 6 more months. I really do think it's going to take a couple months for it to come together. But they like where they're at right now. They know what their concerns are. They got to turn the ball over less, and they got to get better guarding the perimeter one-on-one. They got to get better guarding one-on-one, period. But it all starts on the perimeter because if they're just getting blown by, they're going to rotate immediately and give up a bunch of open threes. So they know what they have to work on, but at the end of the day, your offense can take over and win you games when you're not the best. Like, they had 18 turnovers. How many times could a Buzz Williams team survive having 18 turnovers no matter who they played in
Not
one?
often,
Like,
because
that
offensively they weren't
exactly.
there.
So like the fact that they have so many shooters can cover up for maybe some areas where they're lacking on some nights.
Do we have to kind of relook at that number though? Like, because you think about 12 to 18 turnovers, That's with so many less possessions. This team is about possessions.
Exactly. So their 18 turnovers almost matters less than like that. They can. What I mean is they can survive that.
They don't
more
want
than,
to have 18 turnovers.
Yeah, exactly.
But more opportunities lead to more mistakes.
When you have like 10 more possessions than the average team, 18 turnovers compared to like 18 turnovers for a slow-paced team like Buzz's team, it goes from being detrimental to like, and we can survive that just by hitting a couple more threes. So they have areas they can make up for that, but you obviously want to clean that up. I expect them, with how fast they play, to probably live in like the double-digit turnover range, but anything more than 20 is really concerning, but they can survive having 15 turnovers on a night and still win.
Have you ever met Johnny Manziel?
Never met him, but I've like seen him.
Okay. Would you like to meet him?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
You know there's an opportunity this weekend to meet him? Did you know that?
I did not know that.
You knew that. You've listened to the show. You haven't listened to the show is what you're telling me. Aggie fans, get ready for a Saturday you'll never forget. Fitterman Sports, bringing the Maroon and White spirit to Houston with an epic autograph meet and greet featuring your favorite football stars, legends and leaders, and the future of Aggie football. So you get a chance to meet Johnny Manziel, Johnny Football, the Heisman Trophy winner, along with Marcel Reed, Casey Concepcion, Mario Craver. So you got 4 Aggies. Would you like to go to that
That's
now?
like the 4 people that's at the top of your list of who you want to meet.
Yeah, and I think maybe we should make you work on a Saturday and go cover that. One forgettable day is happening on Saturday at Fitterman Sports Post Oak location inside of Central Supply in Houston, Texas. What you need to do is bring your stuff. Bring your helmets, your jerseys, unbeatable Aggie pride and autographs and photos and memories that'll last a lifetime. You got kids that never saw Johnny Manziel play. Come see him, right, and say hi. And then you got Marcel. He's about to be a legend, too. Tickets are going fast, so don't wait. Head to FittermanSports.com right now and lock yours in before they're gone. And make sure to follow Fitterman Sports on Facebook and Instagram for all the action. That's FittermanSports.com on November the 1st. Fitterman Sports, the Fighting Texas Aggies. Be there.
Final segment of the program. If you want to move back to Aggie Land, you should. The place is awesome. Don't want to live anywhere else. And you can maybe look for a job at the Association of Former Students that are seeking to hire professionals to join their team. Sometimes in many different departments, they have fundraising, they got sales, they got communications, they got it all. And it's a great place to go work. And they're the nation's premier alumni association serving the A&M network. They play a part in every Aggie story from howdy to here. Don't miss opportunities to help out the association with Aggie Ring Day, class reunions, Aggie muster, and everything in between. Join a team that exemplifies those Aggie core values of excellence, integrity, leadership, loyalty, respect, and selfless service, all in support of that worldwide Aggie network. So if you're interested in joining the team or sharing with someone that would be a great fit, please visit tx.ag/association jobs to apply and get more information on each position. It is the Association of Former Students. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. McKinley Polanski, the Popo. What you got for us?
I have some more things on Aggie sports that I didn't get to talk about earlier. I want to talk about women's golf. They're doing really good this fall. The number 4 Texas A&M women's golf team is set to wrap up its historic fall season at the Bear Brawl with 36 holes of action at Ridgewood Country Club, October 28th. The Aggies seeking its 4th tournament victory of the season, which would be tied for the 2nd most in program history. The Aggies are fresh off an epic 7-stroke comeback at the Jim West Challenge. They also won the Folds of Honor Collegiate and Carmel Cup and were runner-ups at the NB3 match play at Twin Warriors. So good luck to the women's golf team as they go into the Bear Brawl.
Remember earlier when I was talking to Jordan Pugh, and Nick, you can chime in on this in the last minute of the show. I was like, we need to rebrand BAS. And I think Believe and Succeed. Somebody had a better one.
Ooh.
BTA. Belt to. Let's rebrand it, Nick. Come on. Come up with one.
No, yeah, I'm not.
No,
I'm not.
I don't
in
do
the
Spanish and I don't do acronyms. Nick
Correct.
Savage. That's your new shirt.
I like that one. I'd wear that.
Yeah. I don't play your games, Nuño, and I don't do acronyms. I'm out.
Fair.
Olin plays. Olin would have come up with something on the spot.
Yeah, he would have something.
We
already.
all play Olin's game. Let's be real here.
This is true.
We're all it's his world. We're living in it.
That is correct. Hey, so remind me, what do we have on Wednesdays? I know we've got Jason Howe tomorrow. I know
you got Cade Bickham, but you have the Go Hour. Obviously, you got Max Wright. Maybe Jamie Morrison. I don't know. Maybe you know
Jamie's
that.
coming tomorrow.
Jamie, there you go.
He's coming tomorrow.
Peter Burns, Recruiting Country. We got to go.
Got a lot of stuff. All right, guys. We'll see you mañana, I guess. I hope. Yeah, we will. See you then.